92.3 The Fan is Cleveland's home for breaking sports news. Your teams, your station.
The national media isn't wrong. Kevin Stefanski's going to get a job quick, and it's going to be with Denny's. We just saw that on the field today. He gave the Denny's wristband to Shedeur instead of the game plan.
You know, Ken, I'm going to blame this one on you because back in, I think, September, you did say, make it forgettable. And they quite literally did that.
Make it forgettable. That's coming in hotline. You can use that. 92.3 The Fan on the free Odyssey app. Go ahead, like the station, favorite the station. What you want to do on the free Odyssey app. Then right next to listen live button is either a microphone or leave a message. Thank you. Within 30 seconds, it's coming in hotline. So, the Browns quit. I quit. I quit on this regime. I'm done. If they keep any of this, I have no faith. I have zero faith. I'm in a dark place. And I'm not mad. I didn't think I was going to get mad, but then you just think of the absurdity of having to speak and talk and try to, you guys are going to work today. You have to sit here and have these conversations about trying to figure out exactly what they were trying to do with this stupid wristband stuff and the stories they can't keep straight. Just think about that. Think about the waste of time that is for you. Think about it. And it shouldn't be a waste of your time. So a lot of you just aren't even going to do it, and you're just going to say, move on. Move on. If you can't be organized, if you can't get it done, if you can't get your people in the right place, I should say. It's one thing if they were organized, but they're not, and they weren't winning. Okay. It'd still probably be let go because it's year 6, but you're not organized. You have to call timeouts coming out of kickoffs. It's stupid.
You don't see that very often.
You don't see that. You don't know. The only time I've seen it once. When you texted me while I was playing video games, I didn't pay attention. I had to call a timeout out of a kickoff once when I was playing video games. I'm dead serious about that.
And even you weren't happy about that. You're like, this is mismanagement.
Yeah, this is mismanagement, and I'd rip me for this.
I'm
so I
not
have to rip them
focused.
for this. It's unfocused. It's dumb. I can't do it. And Xavier P., go the social media reactions, Owen, if you will, please.
Oh, those are brought to you by Scheiben Jewelers, Cleveland's premier jewelry store.
Real Xavier P. couldn't be more right about it. Is that I got Ben Johnson here who ran circles, light years ahead of our 2-time Coach of the Year. That's what it is. He said not firing Bubba 10 weeks ago was my line. Yeah, opening kickoff, 52-yard return.
It was every kickoff, every punt return.
Then on the punt, it was 17 yards on the return from Duvernay. That's nearly 2 first downs.
It felt like
stupid.
Every time that ball was in the air and they returned it, it was going to be midfield.
Yeah, it's just
every time.
It's dumb football.
Well, we're starting on the 1 foot line.
And all I hear about is, and the problem is all I hear about is, well, it's the back half of the roster. It's the back half of this roster, and we got new guys coming in. The other teams are dealing with it too. Other bad teams are dealing with it too. And if it were, who on your schedule is that great? All right, if Green Bay would have done it to you, it's like, okay, they're playing for some. They got something to you. You got did by the Jets. You got did by the Titans on your special teams, man. You lost those games because of special teams. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it from you. If you're going to sit there and make excuses, just go. Just go. Assistant head coach, I don't care. I'm done. I'm just so done. I'm over this crap. I'm over the arguments about Shedeur. I really am. I don't mean to put it on him. I'm not putting it on him. This whole thing, he was led down the primrose path from this very beginning, and it ain't going to work, and they're going to take another quarterback, and that guy is going to have to be Superman to drag them out of this, because I'm sure if they leave these people in charge, I'm sure this is going to be another huge embarrassing failure in so many ways. If we end up taking Fernando Mendoza, as of right now, I'm sure I'll change my tune because I'm in a really negative place right here, Anthony. But it's like, hey, I hope you enjoyed Saturday night because that might be as good as it gets for you, young man. Lord Almighty. 216-474-0092. There's nothing that's defensible anymore. And I know we have to talk about this stupid wristband thing. It's just, it's more of the same. It's more of the same. Nothing changes. Nothing. You got anything?
It's mind-boggling. Look, I talked about the defense pretty quickly. You could tell they wanted nothing to do with that game, and that's what happens at the end of these years. I know it's like, well, they're professionals. They know that their offense is not going to be able to string together anything, and the weather adds a factor to it. You're on the road. Your rookie quarterback, your 5th round pick is let's face it. I mean, overmatched in that game, I think, is pretty obvious. Not necessarily his fault. There was a lot working against Shedeur yesterday, and there was no chance he was going to be able to overcome
wide receiver.
That. Did you? Hey, that play, by the way, I thought that was just an outstanding defensive play.
Whatever.
Look, Judy, I am not a fan of Jerry Judy. I did not want them to trade for him.
Defines his whole career with us.
I never liked him, but the defensive player touched the ball first. Like, I thought that was just an outstanding defensive play. Like, he's had a lot of terrible plays. I didn't think you could put that one on Judy necessarily.
Just another microcosm of what he's been while he's been here. Who brought him in?
This regime.
Yeah. Okay, Andrew Berry, and that was what? Because we can't draft wide receivers?
Well, they were desperate with the Elijah Moore move as well. Is he even on a football team right now, Elijah Moore?
I think he just got released. I don't know who he got picked up by, but he got released. Rodney in Litchfield, hello.
If I have the time, guys, I'd like to make a comment and then ask you guys a question.
Go ahead.
The comment is, in my ring of friends in the Cleveland area who are all Browns fans, I have stood up for Stefanski probably more than anybody. In one of my arguments, which is not a good argument, is he's better than the last 5 coaches we had. And that's probably a true speech.
Yeah,
but
that is true.
With that being said, the play calling in the last couple of weeks, the goofy play, and I'm not even going to go through all of it because I want to ask you a question after this. The play calling, now the wristband, a new voice, whatever it's going to take. I can't take it anymore. I don't hardly watch the games anymore. I watch the highlights usually because I'm not going to waste 3.5 hours of my day being aggravated. And I do have a question for you. One series, Williams throws the ball to 2 defenders. It goes between their arms. Their guy catches it. The next series, our guy makes a fairly decent pass that ends up being an interception. This team doesn't have any luck either. I mean, honestly, if you believe in luck, they don't even have any luck. They have no luck. They have no skill. And for you guys to say the defense gave up, are you telling me Myles Garrett doesn't have something to play for right now? Is he not man?
Well, he's only one of 11, Rodney.
And let's face it,
there's 10 others.
The whole second half, he's chasing a sack record.
So are you seeing? Wait a minute. So Rodney, are you seeing what you saw was a good effort on yesterday? That was altogether a great effort.
No, that's another one of my points.
Okay,
our best player can't get the rest of the guys up to playing.
Oh,
that takes a special player. We have no voice on the field. Name a guy on the field that's Baker Mayfield, and I'm sorry to name him. Name a guy who can pick up and lift up the rest of the players. We don't have that guy.
Baker's having trouble lifting up his own, arm, but his own team
at
right
least
now.
He lifted his team up for a year.
all right.
And then we play the guy with a broken arm, and nobody even tell us why they're playing a guy with a broken arm. How stupid is that? I am so fed up, I can't stand it.
Rodney,
thank you.
Thank you very much for the call. Rodney's called in a bunch. Rodney's been defensive a bunch. Rodney's at the end of it. How could you not be at the end of it after?
I think everybody is. I think everybody is on board. If you ran a poll, I can't imagine less than 90%.
I mean, I can hem and haw and
would say they want Stefanski fired right now.
I can hem and haw and get Baker and bring up Baker all I want. But it'd still be better than this. This is an abomination.
I don't think Baker was the answer. I think I've been abundantly clear on all that. But we were going through before the show. I said if Baker had the exact same year that he had in Tampa, which is kind of spiraling now, and he's injured, they would definitely have a chance to win the division. But would I pick him to go anywhere? No, I wouldn't. Josh in Streetsboro. Josh, hello.
Gentlemen, good morning. I have a question for you, and I have a question for the Cleveland fans out here.
All right.
When is enough going to be enough? We've seen this year in, year out for 6 years. We've seen the same result by this time every year. When are we going to just vote with our wallets and say, they go or we go? At what point? And while we're on that subject, I don't want to hear a damn thing out of Jerry Judy's mouth for the rest of eternity after that pick.
Well, he said the play doesn't define him.
Yeah, okay. But
the play doesn't define him.
Back to the fans. Guys, we've seen this. We have the pattern recognition. They don't care. Why do we? Why are we giving them money? Why are we paying their pay?
I mean, Josh, they're $5 tickets out there. I mean, are you not doing $5? Okay, I mean, I don't know what else to tell you, Josh. I mean, they're $5 tickets out there. I think they are showing
$5. The Browns already have their money.
You're
giving somebody that gave them money back.
Well, no, but there's tickets that are just left unsold. There are tickets that are left unsold that are bought.
I don't think they sold out a game this year.
So,
The $5 secondary market tickets are not sold by the Browns.
Like, Josh, you have told that to me, thank you for the call. That's in my own personal opinion, that's part of the reason you wouldn't see Deshaun Watson anymore. I mean, that move, you've been bad and people have been mad at you and they've been upset and fed up. That move made people not like you. And when he didn't play well, that made him not like you a lot. And so no, that's part of it. But then yesterday, it's just more of the same silliness, more of the same. It's just goofy football. It's nonsensical. And to have a wristband mishap, no, you don't do that. You don't do that in Pee Wee football, let alone doing that in the NFL. That is completely unacceptable. It's unforgivable. We're supposed to evaluate this quarterback.
I also feel like we don't know what happened.
You are unserious.
Which I don't understand how that's possible. You're right, they couldn't get their story straight yesterday.
216-474-0092. By the way, speaking of Shador, can you look past the ugly because of the big plays? We'll get to it. King Carman, Anthony Lime on the Northeast Factory Direct in North.
Jewelers. Friends, Ken Carman, PeterJewelers.com. It's where Cleveland gets engaged. It's where Cleveland shops for the holidays. You gotta go there. If you don't know what to do, if you don't know where to go, get to Avon Lake. You'll be glad you did. PeterJewelers.com. Since 1987, it's where Cleveland shops for the holidays. Talk sports deep into the Cleveland night. Overtime with Jake Volnick. Weeknights at 7. Sports Radio 92.3 The Fan.
Daryl Ryder going to join us at 8:20 this morning. Who did Daryl call an energy vampire on his post-game show yesterday?
What a way to put it.
We have an argument about that player going on off air. We'll bring that to the air coming up here in a bit. However, we got to get to things going on right now with the front office, with the head coach. That's as bad as it gets. We know it's bad. And what I'm upset about is that, all right, we're going to evaluate. And I'm upset about a lot of things. One of the things I'm most upset about, we're going to evaluate. Okay, we're going to let him have the rest of the year. Then you give him the wrong wristband. Or allegedly. Well, because they can't get their story straight, so now it's all murky.
Yeah, I can't even say that. I know that's what the reporter said.
There's a question of the wristband, yes.
I don't know that we know definitively what the hell happened with the card. Now, if we just take Shedeur at his word.
What?
If we just take Shedeur at his word, then... I mean, he was very quick, and he's like, no, it fell out.
Shedeur had the best explanation. Kevin, I don't know what that was. No, yes. What was that?
He also had time after Kevin spoke for them to go, hey, man, they're going to ask you about this wristband. You better be quick on the draw.
One more time through. Let's punch up the Alice.
All three?
Yeah, let's get Allison Williams first. Audio Fox Sports, hit it.
Worth noting with Cleveland's offense struggling just operationally to start this game. Prior to this possession, when Shedeur was on the sideline, he actually came over. They removed the wristband with the play calls in there, and they made a change to one of the sheets and some tweaks, some changes with that wristband that he wears with the play calls. So that could have been part of the issues they had early.
Because they had plenty of those. They false started from their own one.
But that is different from...
Then you had 12 in the huddle.
That is different from what people on the internet had jumped to the conclusion that he was given the wrong card.
Well, here's...
Like, she's saying they made changes to the card.
Here's Kevin. Go ahead.
Early on, was there something wrong with Sanders' wristband?
Yeah, there was a miscommunication early.
They mentioned that you guys had the wrong plays in the wristband on the first two drives. Is that accurate?
No. Yeah. There was something, I don't know if the wristband got something on it or whatever it was, but there was we got that fixed pretty quickly.
So there was a miscommunication, then something got on the wristband.
So far, these line up to me if you make it really work hard. They didn't like the card in the wristband. They went to pull it out. When they pulled it out,
something
they
got
smudged
on it. Here is Shedeur Sanders.
On TV, they mentioned that something happened with your wristband after the first two drives.
Oh, no, the card just fell out. Yeah, it just fell out on the sideline. Yeah, that was it.
When they went to pull the card out, it fell, picked it up, it was wet, smudged it. Got a new one.
There was a miscommunication.
Also, we miscommunicated on don't drop the card or not.
Anybody buy the only one I would really buy is Shedeur's. That's it. I mean, no offense, Allison Williams. I'm sure. I think what she was reporting is what she saw or told or whatever. But like Kevin's answer, what was that?
I don't know.
You're trying so hard to give a non-answer that you blew the whole thing up.
Right.
What was that? No. Yes. What? Humana. Well, there's something got on it. There was a smudge. Yeah, that's the ticket. Like, what was that answer? When I heard that yesterday, it's like that was really I let the game wash over me, and then we got to the post game, and I got to listen to him the post game. That's part of what we got to do. And then I heard that, I went, oh God, because that was it. And then I heard Shedeur's, and I go, Shedeur's the only one with a plausible reason here, a plausible answer. Yeah, the card fell.
Yeah.
No.
Gave the no. Yeah.
No. Yeah.
What's this charge for $700 to the OnlyFans?
No. Yeah.
For me, it was the wrestling hotline back in the day.
No. Yeah.
Still can't believe I tried to fool the parents with that one. It was the only one that watched wrestling.
No. Yeah.
But there's $35 in charges.
No. Yeah.
Yep.
Total mistake. What'd you think of Shedeur yesterday?
No. Yeah. Yeah.
That's basically what it was.
I want to know from
That's
you,
what I
Ken
thought.
Carman.
I thought he
What'd you
struggled.
think?
I thought he struggled. I didn't know if he
Yeah.
had a chance from the very
No,
beginning.
he had no
I thought,
chance.
I thought the very beginning when they're talking about new cards or old cards or whatever it was, I thought that was going to be plausible.
Well, you
and I'm
could see Kevin ran onto the field. I mean, he ran onto the field and they allowed him to, which you never really see that. There was no timeout or anything like that, but you could tell that they had no semblance of an understanding of what was going on. They were totally confused.
I'm going to give him the guys. I'm just going to be honest. I'm going to give him the rest of the year. He's got 3 more games, but I think the odds are stacked against him, and it's not going to change anybody's mind. And the only thing that will save them is the where are they at right now in the draft? In the draft process, because the other teams that are ahead of them, boy, they got hammered too. The Jets got hammered. Tennessee, they beat you, but they got hammered. The Raiders got smoked. This was a big quit day in the NFL yesterday for a lot of teams.
Yeah, Browns are 4th.
We're 4th
and 28th.
Okay.
Because Jacksonville is just slaughtering teams.
Okay. But as of right now, you know how desperate they are.
Now the Saints won yesterday. We were ahead of them anyway, but because of tiebreakers.
All right.
But now they have their 4th win. We are still sitting at 3 with the Jets and Arizona ahead of us. Giants, Vegas, Tennessee.
Okay. I thought it was...
But the Giants don't need a quarterback. At least they don't think.
I just thought it was another quarterback that was in over his head, but I thought a lot of it was circumstance. I wasn't upset with him. The Jerry Judy pick, I put more on Jerry Judy. I put more on a good play by the guy in the secondary. Would have been Jalen Johnson, the cornerback. I put more on them. Some of the other stuff that happened, I mean, there were a couple of big plays. He threw to Harold Fannin. He's the guy that he knows he can trust. He can't trust Jerry Judy. He doesn't trust anybody but Harold Fannin, it seems. So he's going to throw a bunch to Harold Fannin. But this offensive line, it's scattershot at best. So there's plausible excuses, but there's nothing plausible for an excuse to say that, well, you're not going to make any moves for next year, because you got to understand what the NFL is. And I understand what the NFL is, and I think there's fans of Shedeur that don't want to understand that, and then there's fans who are terrified of taking a quarterback that also don't want to understand that. I'm like, we just need to make ourselves comfortable. Unless Jimmy comes out and says it next year that they're not taking a quarterback like he did last year, then you just need to make yourself comfortable that they're going to do what they can to move up and take a quarterback. And so they're the ones with the firepower, apparently. We're going to give up even more for a quarterback, and they're probably going to do it. They're probably going to do it. If they have the chance to, they're going to do it unless he can prove something crazy over the next 3 games. But this is going to be more of the same. This is why it's set up for failure. You want to talk about evaluating. How can I really give an evaluation to anything? It's set up for failure. I got Garrett Dellinger coming in and playing guard.
Yeah, there were guys in there I had no idea who they were.
Who just got brought in. You wouldn't know who any of these guys are. So it's going to continue to be, we're going to be hitting our heads against the wall with each other here over the next few weeks, guys. Just get ready. It's going to be more of the same. It's unfair, but that's what the NFL is. That's what the Cleveland Browns are. And I don't believe that I hope I'm wrong, but I don't believe he's going to be put in a position to succeed. I don't think he's going to succeed enough for them to change their ideas. The only thing I could think of is that the 2 quarterbacks at the top of the draft just come out and say, I'm flat out not going to Cleveland. You can draft me. I ain't playing. I don't know. Other than that, just get ready. They're going to draft a quarterback. So make peace with that. You could say it's wrong. You could say it's not right. I'll hear you out on that. Anthony, you know it, but it's something that we need to make peace with. 216-474-0092. Can you look past the ugly with Shedeur because of the big plays? All that, and yes, it does define your career. At least with the Cleveland Browns. That's at 720 on the Fan.
Anthony Limo.
rallied from 17 points down to 4 overtime. However, in OT, the Cavs held scoreless 0 for 10 from the floor. Don't miss Monday Night Football. Steelers and Dolphins. Coverage starts tonight at 7 right here on 92.3 The Fan. From the University Hospital Sports Desk, I'm Jeff Thomas.
Catch Afternoon Drive with Nick Wilson and Jonathan Peterlin live on YouTube each and every weekday from 2 to 7 p.m.
All right, we got Daryl at 820, 216-474-0092. I want to get to some of you guys. Can you look past the ugly with Shedeur? I think you have to. If you don't, it's like, well, what else you got to look forward to other than, like, and some people get upset, like, Carson plays well. Yeah, I know Carson Schlesinger plays well, but if you guys don't get this position figured out, then he's just going to be the next in line of great players that ended up wasting their time here, like Joe, like Joel, like Miles, Denzel. Like, if you don't get that position figured out, like, this is what it's going to be. Well, like, you've had good players. You just have had the wrong player in the most important position for 25 years, with the exception of one guy, and there were flashes there.
You can always tell the bad defensive games for the Browns. Like, Schlesinger's going to make the tackle. The question is it around the line of scrimmage, or is it 8 yards down the line of scrimmage, from the line of scrimmage? Yeah. And that's where it was yesterday. All of Schlesinger's tackles were way into the second level or third level, and I'm like, that's not good. That's not good. That's not a good scheme. That's guys missing tackles.
Like, guys, I will say, like, I have to say, if I want to, I could be mean about this, and I'm not going to, because I'm not a mean person. At least I try not to be a mean person. Even though people who, I've realized this, if you go out of your way to be nice, you know how mean people sound. So you can be mean, if you've noticed that. Really nice people know what mean is like. And they don't want to experience that, and they don't want others to experience it, but they can say some mean things, because they know it. I think they know it better than mean people do. I could be mean-spirited and say that this thing isn't going to go well and that these next 3 games are going to be a waste for him, that they're going to go on to go off for a quarterback. I don't want it to go that way. I'm not going to be mean about it. I'm just telling the truth as best I can. And it's not anything against Shedeur. It's not even against any of the fine folks that are listening online that are his fans or anything like that. I know that you've gone around with them, and I've gone around with you around them and that whole thing. It's not even about that. This is just, guys, if you're just dropping in as a Browns fan since April 27th or whenever it was, like, this is more par for the course. This is why people are exasperated. This is why I reach this point nearly every year. This is why we have to constantly go over and record things that we said, because they are used against us later on in the season. The exuberance that happens in August is usually met with a boot in the face by December. And so here we are. I have to remain on this, and I have to be as honest as possible. The honest thought of this is that I know the Browns real well. They will get to the end of this year. They will more than likely fire Kevin Stefanski and Andrew Berry. They will bring new people in. Those people will probably do what's necessary to go out and get a quarterback. And if they hold on to Shedeur, they hold on to Shedeur. They probably won't, though. I know what Mary Kay said in the pregame show yesterday, and I think that's a novel idea. And I would like it to be true, because I would love for the answer to be there. And he's made some great throws, but I don't think there's going to be enough to say that, yep, we're going to be comfortable with him moving forward, and that's it. And even with a new regime, they're going to do it. It's not fair. It's the Browns. Yesterday, with that offensive line, I mean, Joel Bitonio had to be looking around going, what did I sign up for? This is unbelievable. Perfect stranger stepping into the offensive line. You got that going against you. I got an inept situation with my coaching staff, whether it was Kevin or Rees or anybody there. That's embarrassing, which, by the way, if Tommy Rees is, if he's auditioning to be the head coach of the Cleveland Browns, I don't know what this wristband stuff is, but I definitely want to get to the bottom of that, because that is that we'll put it on the head coach because he's the head coach. It's his name on the door. It's on Kevin. But when we find out more about this, and I'm sure we will, I need to know what's down at the bottom of it. Did the card really just fall out? Because the only good answer I got was from Shedeur. Everybody else had Kevin had a terrible answer. So if it's the wrong plays, or if it's the wrong card, or any of it, like, my eyes are on him as well. I got to see where that is too, because that is as disorganized and ill-prepared as I've seen in 25 years of watching the Browns since 99. Think about that. Think about that. We don't know who to bring in. We don't know who to bring out. We don't know what we're doing. We're going to call timeouts. We can't get anything organized. Like, that's it. Like, there's so much working against him. Yes, I am more than willing to look past the ugly. I am trying to look past the ugly. I just know the sum of all its parts is going to work against him.
Well, I have to admit, the bar for me, it seems like the bar that I have for him is not the same bar that other fans have. And that is, I need to see an overwhelming answer from him in a brutal spot. There's no doubt. You brought up the revolving door on the offensive line.
Yeah.
No matter who was going to be back there, this was going to be really, really tough. But that's where the bar has to be, because you may not be drafting this high ever again or have the 2 first-round picks, in the near future.
Yeah.
So that's why the bar has to be high. He has to make it unequivocal not to go do everything you can to go get the quarterback in next year's draft. And that's just a reality. I know I saw a lot of people go, well, what has Mendoza done? And I'm like, the Heisman Trophy winner who is with Indiana, an undefeated team. Like, at Indiana, this isn't Ohio State. This isn't Alabama. This isn't Georgia. It's Indiana, and the quarterback is undefeated, just beat Ohio State, and they're the number 1 seed in the tournament. Like, that's why the bar has to be high, because I don't know when the Browns are going to be here again. And it's not, guys, I don't understand what league people have been watching that they can say, well, you're going to bring a number 1 pick, a quarterback, into this mess. Yeah, that's what happens. That's the league. That's
what they do.
Those are the teams. What good teams get to draft a quarterback at the top? That's not how the league works. I don't understand how people aren't getting this.
The Jets situation isn't great. Who else is in front of us? The Saints are behind us.
The Giants.
The Giants are ahead of us?
Yeah. The Giants have now are number 1.
The Giants don't need a quarterback, so the Giants situation isn't great.
This is what people keep saying. Well, you can't get him. Yes, you can. Yeah, you have a second first-round pick to try and get him.
I thought it was somebody else who was ahead of us.
Right now, according to Tankathon,
we're 4th. We're not. I thought we were 3rd. The Raiders should be ahead of us.
Number 1 pick right now.
Yeah, the Raiders,
They've lost
Jets,
8
Giants.
in a row. Vegas has lost 8 in a row, and then Tennessee is still ahead of you. So there is a chance. Like, you do have a chance to get the quarterback. And that quarterback right now, he has 3 more. His evaluation's not over.
No.
He still has.
You're right about that.
He still has potentially 3 more high leverage games.
But he is,
and a chance to win the national championship. And guys, if he ends up winning the national title and wins the Heisman at Indiana, he's going number 1. He's probably going number 1 anyway.
One of those 2 guys are put in a much better position than Shedeur Sanders to look good. So there's going to be the thrill of what could possibly be. Shedeur Sanders, you are going to see him in a Browns jersey, and there's going to be more bad offensive line play, and there's going to be more ineptitude handed in from the sidelines, and there's going to be more times where he's going to be running for his life, trying to look for anybody to try to make a play. I mean, that's some of these plays. The one play he got off to Harold Fannin for a first down, that's complete and utter playmaker desperation. That's all that is. That's all that is. And it's not fair, but it's the Browns. That's what it was.
That play was. I thought they were going to get him with forward progress again, just to balance out the one fumble.
Like, you're not trying. Usually you're trying to be fun about it and stuff. I'm not even trying to be fun.
Well,
I'm just telling people the truth of the matter. This is very serious.
And look, yes, he dropped 2 or 3 dimes in that game. But it has to be so much more, because I'm watching guys around the league. Even the worst quarterbacks in the league are making 3 to 4 good throws a game. They are. Like, I hate to say it. So it has to be so much more than that. It has to be a no-doubter. And right now, guys, there's doubt. There's total doubt. And if I pour it over, and this is not fair to Shedeur, because this spot was brutal, and Dylan Gabriel is right around him in the numbers. But I went through all these stats that, Ken, you probably roll your eyes at EPA and CPOE. Okay, he's 44th out of 44th in that composite. He's 44th out of 44th in adjusted EPA per play. In EPA per play, he's 44th out of 44th. In success rate, he's 44th out of 44th. In completion percentage, 43rd. J.J. McCarthy is 44th. And he actually looked pretty good last night, did he not? Expected completion percentage. He's in the 30s, okay. But everything else, CPOE, 44th out of 44th. Guys, under no circumstances does that mean if you had a quarterback with those numbers and it were any other team, and the quarterback you had any other name besides Shedeur Sanders, there's no chance you would advocate not drafting and not doing everything you could to draft a quarterback.
Are you saying you're willing to look past the ugly from yesterday, right? Are you willing to do that? Because
I'm saying the full body of work is so in question.
It's not going to be enough to not draft a quarterback.
Right. That's what I'm saying.
with you on that. Like, I got to it. I know people can't see it because they're driving in, but there might be some people watching on YouTube. I hope they can see that. So these are the notes that are in. They send you game notes every single week, right? And I take them and I take out some of the other supplemental stats and then I restaple them together. But at the end, like, I have my depth chart right here. And you see that, all that red? You see all that red there? I sent that to you and I said, this is December in Berea. This is the red. And I looked at it going into yesterday and I thought, there's just no way. I can't evaluate him because of this.
No,
I got 4/5 of the offense. 3/5. Sorry, kind of David Njoku. 3/5 of the offensive line there. And Cam Robinson isn't anybody that anybody's excited about for the future, right? I got Zach Zinter, the 3rd round pick behind him. He's gone. Luke Whippler's in there. He's doing his best. And again, you had Garrett Dellinger have to go in because Tevin Jenkins got hurt in that football game. And I'm thinking, it's not fair. It's the blind leading the blind into a lake, and we're just going to drown here.
And he is only throwing the ball to Harold Fannin. So Harold Fannin is great, but he can't be in your wide receiver room the only guy that you're targeting. And because of that, yesterday, did you see how many targets it was? Out of 31 total targets.
But this is my issue.
14 of them were to Harold Fannin, and that's not counting the screen plays that you're not really throwing the ball down the field. So every time he steps back, the defenses know he's looking at Harold Fannin.
But I do firmly believe this, with this going on right now in your roster and the offense you have to make, the offensive changes, like I think it's going to be quite ugly next year. Like, I don't know if Fernando Mendoza can overcome this, and I don't know if Dante Moore can overcome this. I don't know many quarterbacks who can overcome this, and the ones who can are legends. So it's brutally unfair, but it's the brutal truth of the matter that at the end of all this, I got a head coach that's struggling to come up with answers that are passable. Everybody else doesn't want to answer anything. You have more stupid things going on from the sideline than I could ever count. And I'm supposed to evaluate him? No. Stay in the water. Stay in the water. I wish he could overcome this. I wish he could overcome it. But I don't think he's going to be able to, and that's the reason why I think next year you just need to get ready, because it's going to happen. You just need to get ready. 216-474-0092. All you guys are coming up next, and the Cavs are lucky Cleveland isn't paying attention to them right now. That's in Lima Likes on the Fan.
Real estate market.
Don't miss Monday Night Football, Steelers and Dolphins. Coverage starts tonight at 7 o'clock right here on 92.3 The Fan. From the University Hospital Sports Desk, I'm Jeff Thomas.
You can lose your job at any point in time. You don't play with fear. When you live and play in fear, then you can never be yourself. So I don't play or live in fear. Whatever situation I'm in, I'm in. Whatever happens, it happens. I live each moment and try to live each day to the fullest. So never live in worry or fear.
There's Shedeur. I really like him. If you're watching on YouTube, watch this on YouTube, YouTube Live. It's absolutely free. I really like him. I just don't think there's a chance in hell. Because of all this whole thing, this whole situation. I saw something, because I said, and I brought up the depth chart, and I had said, I looked at these guys who are out. Again, Garrett Dellinger going in, which you had brought up. Somebody had tweeted that at us. Was it T. Moon Pickens with the Daniel Yafusi stat about the pass rush win rate, or what was it?
Yeah, it said the Browns pass block win rate today is marked at 70%, which would be the fourth highest of the season, which is defined as how often offensive line or individual linemen successfully hold their block against a pass rusher for at least 2.5 seconds.
You see, well, that's the beauty of it. Thank you very much. See, he's not wrong. Obviously, that's a stat. I don't know any Browns fan that felt comfortable. I don't know any football person who felt comfortable going into that game with that offensive line. Certainly Kevin Stefanski couldn't have been comfortable. Who could have been comfortable with everything going on in that offensive line? So that's how I felt watching the game. That stat, those stats, those metrics will be used in the offseason. That's why you'll go out and get a quarterback. That's why. That right there is the exact case I'm making. Like, I'm willing to try to overlook ugly. They won't. A new regime won't. Whoever comes in as the new GM, like, I think that this is over. Yesterday, that was it. I don't know if it's going to be both. I don't think you can bring back this coaching staff after what we've seen here. I don't think that they're interested in being here, to be honest with you. For the love of God, for what we just saw yesterday. But if you were to move on, and if you cleaned it all up, whoever comes in knows the clock's ticking. They're going to be desperate for a quarterback. The owner's desperate for a quarterback. So, like, I'm seeing a bunch of guys. You got to take a lineman. You got to take this. You got to take that. I don't mean to start draft talk too soon. You can give me all the people they got to take. You don't get fired over it. Neither do I. Neither do Anthony. Neither does Anthony. But we just need to be comfortable with the people who would get fired over it. They're going to be very, 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 very desperate to go get a quarterback. And because the Giants are there at number 1 and you're sitting there at number 4, you said, number 4, hey, you're dealing. You're ready to deal. You got that extra first-round pick. You're ready to deal. You're ready to make a move. Like, I know that scares the hell out of everybody. And so you're going to hope that Fernando Mendoza and Dante Moore go out there and suck up the room. But there's going to be the thought of processing the great beyond in terms of processing what the Browns are right now. Because you're going to see this, and I don't think it's going to get much better. Bills' defense it's fine. It's nothing crazy. That's part of the reason why I think they ran around the Patriots yesterday. Part of the reason why I don't know if the Patriots are there yet. I think it's going to take a playoff appearance here by them. But the Bills' defense isn't that great. Bears' defense isn't that great. They turned people over, though. They turned us over.
Yesterday, their defense looked elite.
The Steelers' defense isn't that great. The Cincinnati defense sucks, but are you going to go on a Week 18 game and say we're going to change the entire trajectory of our franchise because of Week 18? You're not. So this is just... Yeah, I feel so much like this is just shouting into the wind, and I feel awful about it.
It's really tough to evaluate Shedeur. The beautiful throws while under duress. I mean, that's the stuff that makes you think, wait, why was he a 5th-round pick? But... then you watch over the course of a game, and those moments are awesome. They're nice in a sea of nothingness and dysfunction around every turn, and the play sheet and the penalties, and guys not getting lined up. But you're seeing some of the stuff that was said about him beforehand.
Yeah,
you're seeing that stuff manifest, and it doesn't surprise me. That's not the end of the world. That doesn't mean he can't play football in the NFL or have a shot to be a quarterback. But I do see some barriers there that he has to try to overcome, and it's going to be tough for him to overcome it on this team this year. And yes, a whole offseason would be great. The problem is there's no way you could go into next season and say, he's your starter no matter what. No team would do that based on what we've seen so far.
216-474-0092. Todd and Akron, you're first up on the fan. Hello, Todd.
Hello, thank you for taking my call. I was going to say, you're right. Hopefully we don't mess this opportunity up because we definitely got to get Mendoza. Please, I hope the Browns get Mendoza. We definitely need some offensive linemen and some receivers. And without a doubt, we should be able to get every last thing that we need for this team, whether Stefanski goes after him or Andrew Berry or a new regime. But that's what we're going to need for this team to go forward. Mendoza is one.
So you're not willing to look over the ugliness, is what you're saying?
Whether I look over it or not, I think he's a backup. You know, I like him and everything, but he's not a starter. He's not. Clearly.
I see. That's my problem.
So
Todd, thank you for the call. I don't think we can say by what we've seen he's just clearly not a starter.
You can't. It's not definitive.
I'm not willing to go that far. I know that yesterday was not good, and he looked
Kenny,
overmatched. But my God,
now I'll compare him to the guy that went number 1 overall.
Cam Ward.
You'd say the same thing. It's been a brutal spot for Cam, this entire season. And then I'm watching him yesterday. I'm like, all right, there's a good moment. There's a good moment. There's a good moment. But because they invested the number 1 overall pick, they are not going to take another quarterback. At least I don't think in the draft. It'd be very interesting if they did and they traded him. I do think there would be teams that would be open, but not at the same value, right?
No.
Not the same value. I feel like his value has gone down, but there would be teams that look at Cam and say, all right, the evaluation was top of this year's first. So he's somebody that with the right coaching and the right situation. But that's what I'm saying. These are tough evaluation spots. And for Shedeur, he's not going to be able to do enough, I don't think. Those throws are beautiful. I compared him to Jameis yesterday. Where did Jameis go? Jameis went, at the top of a draft.
Yeah.
And that was a guy that did it all in college. But Jameis is not a starter in this league for a good team. He's a starter on bad teams or a backup or a guy you'd want in the locker room after all these years. But that's it. And so it's got to be so much better. And I just don't know that he's going to be able to do that this year.
Let me get to Jovan in San Antonio. You're next up on the fan. Hello.
Hey, thank you for taking my call, gentlemen.
Glad to have you. Go ahead.
Hey, look, y'all dealing with battered Browns syndrome. I hear you, Mr. Lima. I'm done. I'm done, sir. There is no convincing you. And for people like you,
yes, there is.
You in the corner.
Yes, there is.
No, I just sit you in the corner, Mr. Lima.
Wait, why do you say that?
Why do you do that?
Well, I'm not going to sit in the corner. I'm going to be on the radio show that my name's on. But you're going to be the caller. You'll be in the corner when you're done with this call. But go ahead, get your rationale out. But I'm being totally fair. Shedeur has a brutal assignment here, and I'm guessing he's not going to pass the test. He's made some nice throws. I see guys around the league making nice throws. You don't carve out a starting job for them the following year.
Let me talk to Jovan here for a second. Jovan, do you believe that Shedeur Sanders has been put in a position to be successful?
No, I do not.
I don't either.
And
because of where he was taken, he will not get the same time had he have been taken number 2 overall.
Cam Ward would get.
Had he have been taken number 2 overall. I mean, I'm not trying to be mean, Jovan. I like him. I'm just being honest. Is that he will not get that same type of latitude. So we'll finish the season. They'll probably finish their time here in Cleveland because this thing looks dead in the water. And then we will have to get ready and hold our breath that this next quarterback that we end up taking isn't going to be more of the same of what we've seen.
Okay. I hear what you're saying. Yesterday wasn't a good game. He wasn't dealt a good hand. And Mr. Lima keep on bringing up all these mysterious things that he was doing in college. Be specific about it at this point.
What?
He wasn't retreating.
You don't think he had any faults in college?
Yes.
What were they? I want to hear a Shedeur fan tell me his faults because I never hear them.
Well, yeah, the drifting back, that was a problem, but he didn't do it yesterday. We're done with college. We're evaluating him on the stuff he's doing.
I agree.
Next.
I agree we are.
So let me say this. When it comes to him and your organization, because I'm just what you would call a free agent football fan. I'm really from St. Louis, but I'm just a free agent football fan. My city ain't got a team.
Okay.
So I'm a free agent fan. But when it comes to your team, y'all need to build a team. Let's take the quarterback.
Is that what New England did last year? Is that when they had the worst coach in the league?
No,
the one and done?
They still need help on their defense.
Hold on.
Or did they just take the quarterback?
You gotta build. Hold on. You gotta build a team. Y'all ain't got an O-line. So if you go get Mendoza, hey, all respect to the.
What do you think's going to happen next year with Shedeur in that offensive line?
Guys, okay.
I will go.
I'll tell you.
I'm just saying. You got to go out there and you got to go and get a better O-line, because if you get
hell yeah.
We agree.
Yes, Jovan, thank you for the call.
We need receivers. We need O-line.
They have to get all those things. They are not equipped to be a competitive football team.
But that's not a reason to not take a quarterback.
Well,
that's
again,
never a reason.
We got 5 more months to debate that, because it's still the month of December. We got 4.5 more months to debate that. I don't disagree that they need to build a team. It's not like they're going to get a quarterback and they're going to be very competitive next year. I'm still going to be worried about that, because these problems here on this roster are not going away. They're not going away. But we've had good teams before. Again, we had a 4-win football team with 6. Back when the Pro Bowl was actually kind of sort of legitimate, we had a 4-win team with 6 Pro Bowlers on that football team. You know who wasn't a Pro Bowler? Brandon Weeden, because he sucked. So we've had teams around a quarterback before. We've had a Hall of Famer known as the best at his position. We have another future Hall of Famer who may be known as the best ever to play his position. Ever to play the position by the time it's all said and done. And we've won 3 games this year, and that's probably where it's going to end. And we won 3 games last year. So we can sit here and talk about building all these other things that we want. You and I know, you all know in your heart of hearts, it ain't going to go anywhere unless you get that position figured out. We've been through this thing way too many times to not see it. It's just, and I'll agree with Jovan, except to the point I think it's reversed. It's not about a battered Browns fan syndrome. I wrote it there. Our battered Browns fan syndrome. I think that syndrome has led a lot of us to be afraid of the position. I don't need to be afraid of the position anymore. There's so many guys, it's become such a crapshoot anymore that now I have to have a 44-year-old come out of retirement 5 years after he was done to play for a team to try to help save their season. So now if it doesn't even matter as much, I don't need to be as nervous as I used to be.
You're right. Think of how loaded we thought the Browns were, and when Baker went south, they couldn't win. They weren't good.
He's not put in a position to succeed. Neither was Dylan Gabriel. Neither was Joe Flacco. Neither would have been Kenny Pickett. Neither was a lot of quarterbacks. Neither was Dorian Thompson-Robinson. There's so many times where these guys are not put in a position to succeed. When you have to talk about wristbands and whether or not the right plays are on the wristband, that's not a position to succeed. And I feel bad. I feel bad for him. I feel bad for Browns fans, because you don't get a chance to actually rationalize any of this. I start a game, I don't have the right wristband. Yeah. I start a football game and I don't have the right wristband. And we're supposed to be evaluating this? Again, welcome. Everybody who's not a fan of the Browns before the season and you're taking it all in, welcome, because this is par for the course. And constantly getting in your own way. And I'm going to sit here and talk until I lose my voice again about a quarterback that has no chance to be successful with this organization. And so the only thing we have to do is throw our lot in with another guy and just hope he's big enough, fast enough, strong enough to finally dig us out of this. And then hopefully he'll play well enough so we don't get in our own way and we make more inept decisions like we did with the last guy. And he wasn't even that great. He's much better than this, but he wasn't even that great.
But what you're not going to do is wait till Myles Garrett and Denzel Ward is out of their prime. You're not going to wait another 2 years to take a quarterback. That's not how this league works. Do you guys, you free agents that are joining the Browns for this season, welcome on in. Do you watch the rest of the league?
Guys,
That's not how this works. It's not, Houston didn't wait. They took C.J. Stroud. That's not what the Patriots did. They went and took their quarterback and they said, we have to figure it out later, but we can't pass up the chance to take quarterback. And until yesterday, that guy in year 2 was the favorite for the MVP.
Gio in Cleveland, you're next up on the Fan. Hello.
Good morning, everybody. How are you?
Hi. We're doing wonderful. Go ahead.
I don't want to be the instigator here, but man, what does this guy got to do to lose his job? I think you guys are not hearing the Cleveland fans.
Which guy? Which guy?
Kevin Stefanski.
Okay.
Kevin Stefanski. Ken, you just said it. Could we be any more unorganized as a professional football team than we were yesterday? We looked like a high school team. Yeah. The Avon Eagles, they could have beat us yesterday.
They would have been coached better. They would have been more organized. Mike Elder isn't going to let his quarterback go out there. Nathan Good wasn't going out there with the wrong wristband.
But you understand what I'm saying. So what is it? We keep putting everything on the quarterback for my whole life.
I'm not.
Quarterback.
But
listen, wait. We had a guy on our staff last year, a coach on our staff last year that went to a team that all they did was they drafted a lineman. And yeah, maybe a couple other parts sprinkled in here and there. But it's the same team that absolutely sucked last year, and now they're one of the best teams in the AFC. Don't come at me with this. It's not the coaching. It's not the culture. Kevin Stefanski was a coordinator, 1-2 years, and then what was he?
No one's saying it's not the culture. It is the culture.
He's gotta go.
It is the organization.
Go.
Yeah,
They gotta clean house.
He's going to get fired.
You can have Tom Brady. You can have Tom Brady right now.
Yeah.
And
we're
going to suck.
I actually agree. I actually agree with Gio. Thank you for the call. There's only so many things so many guys can do. You would maybe be somewhere around 500, but there's so many things that only so many guys can do. Gio's right. This whole thing is a mess. Shedeur Sanders is not put in a position to be successful. Josh Allen would not be put in a position to be successful. We would only be hoping that Josh Allen could dig us out of this. Because you know why?
I feel like
they had to fire Ken Dorsey at one time, and then we were the team that picked him up for last year. Because we don't put people in a position to be successful here.
I think you guys are right with when you start bringing up Tom Brady and Josh Allen is single-handedly putting a team on his back. They're a bad defense. They're a bad offensive line. He's just doing it by himself. He's that good. But you can't just go get Josh Allen. I get it.
I think that they can only be so good, and I don't think with this organization, with this team, they would get in their own way. So that's what makes everybody fearful of all the other things that we can get, because we don't want to run another quarterback into the ground, as we are running all these other quarterbacks into the ground, including this young man. So we can have all the fights, all we want. We can post all the clips and yell at each other and call each other all the names. But at the end, you're not responsible for it. They're not responsible for it. The Browns are responsible for it. Wristbands. Never thought I'd be arguing that on a Monday. Lima likes. What is there to like? Hopefully we'll find out in 5 on the Fan.
It's Anthony Lima.
We are Sports Radio 92.3 The Fan.
Does Lima like?
Or does Lima no like?
Like?
Tell me likey. I'm liking it. I like it a lot.
No like.
He doesn't like you. I don't like you either.
You're tacky and I hate you.
Like or no like. Like or no like.
But I definitely knew what I liked, and I definitely knew what I didn't like.
All right, obviously, not much to like yesterday, and I will say,
Lima likes.
Myles Garrett inching closer. It was more than a few inches. It was going to be, man, could he get the record yesterday? But then,
Lima no likes.
They took away half a sack. Kenny Sackgate. Your thoughts as Myles Garrett was denied?
Thought it was the right call. Thought it was the right call by the officials.
Well, this
just
happened
because it's got to be legitimate or let it not happen at all. Because they showed when they talked about it, they kept showing the Michael Strahan, Brett Favre sack.
Yes, they did.
And the more I watch, I go, man, that was just so cheap. It's so cheap. And I go, I don't want it to be like that at all. I want him to do it in 16 games, and I want it to be legitimate. Like when Caleb Williams fell on the ball, and they were wondering whether or not they would count that as a sack when he went up and touched Caleb Williams down.
Do you think that should have counted?
No.
If that would have been week 1, he probably gets that.
No.
They're all paying attention. Notice the stats people, the official stat person
you're
there is right there in the booth with them. He must be or communicating with them. They are on it. I don't think that's the case in either of those situations in week 1. I think he gets both of them if it's week 1. Now the NFL, they have to do this legitimately because it has been years and years and years of that Michael Strahan play being mocked. And the NFL doesn't want to be mocked about it again. The other part of this is kind of has to do this in the next 2 games, doesn't he?
Yeah.
He can't do this in week 18.
Nope.
Because there's always going to be an asterisk.
You don't want that.
Myles has to get this in the next 2 weeks. It'll still be amazing. Look, this year is amazing no matter what. I also didn't realize how many guys got to 20-plus sacks. When they put that list up.
It's like 8.
Yeah,
right?
there's
He's
way.
the 9th.
Justin Houston, boy, forgot about him.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, he's up there.
Also, one other, I thought, amazing moment yesterday.
Lima likes.
You found your kicker. That guy hit a 50-yarder in those conditions. They said that, there was 7 yards less than what you could typically do. And you saw, after the Myles sack, their kicker ends up missing the easy one. And Myles, he almost blocked that one too. But you got a legitimate kicker. Think about week 1, how we felt about that kicker and how we feel about Schmidt today. Ooh, congratulations on all his successes. They made sure to drop that he's from the North Chicago suburbs. Kenny.
Interesting.
Congratulations.
Oh, is that? I don't know the geography there. Is it a very
we don't have
area?
North suburbs in Cleveland.
No, it's a lake.
That'd be the lake.
Canada maybe is a north suburb, but
Leamington, Ontario is our north suburb.
Hamilton.
Yeah, Hamilton. I don't know. I just thought it was miraculous when they lined up for a 50-yarder. By the way, did you get as mad as I did or annoyed? I don't tweet these things during the game anymore, especially in the first quarter.
What?
When Shedeur slid short of the first down, I'm like, just go for it. Just go for it.
No, I don't want him. I don't know. The last thing I need him, he needs to be healthy, so I was fine with him sliding. Yes.
No, not that. I just would have gone for it.
Oh, you meant go for it.
I would have gone. To me, that was a tone setter. And when Shedeur had to walk off the field, I go, well, we have no chance in this game.
Yep.
We've got to be able to make that play. And I'm not even saying we would have made it. That's not my second guess here. I'm not like we would have got the first down. No, we probably
Maybe that's
would
what the
not
new
have.
wristband said. We don't even know. Maybe it just said punt. And that's where they walked off. They went, why are we punting? Well, we got a messed up wristband, so this is what this says.
No. Yeah.
I will say this.
Great answer.
I will say this. I think our front office, might have made the right decision.
Lima likes.
Getting rid of Kenny Pickett. Did you see what Kenny Pickett did yesterday?
Nope, did not. I saw that they lost 30-9.
I can tell you that he went 15 of 25. For 64 yards.
What?
That's an all-time dink and dunker.
What? That's more impressive than anything else I've seen in the NFL.
To complete 15 passes and only for 64 yards. Also got picked off.
What's the ant saying on the internet?
What's the what?
He's got that ant on the internet that tweets at everybody.
Is she still listening to us?
I don't know.
Is she...
An auntie or just an ant?
Is she on Las Vegas
No, this
radio?
is like a real aunt.
Oh, okay.
Do you think they talk football on Las Vegas radio?
They have a whole Las Vegas Raiders radio station.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah, I'm
That's
sure
just what they do.
And they have to dissect the
Oh,
Kenny
yeah.
Pickett game. We've got to get to this.
Liminal lights.
What the hell was that from the Cavs? Not just the loss yesterday. The win. The win was terrible.
Thank you.
Against Washington.
Thank you.
Terrible. And I mean, Donovan Mitchell had to go off for almost 50, but they lost yesterday to the Charlotte Bobcats, the Hornets.
Hornets.
whatever.
They're the Hornets.
All right. What
It's
did
a great Surfside report we got here.
And that
brought to you
is
by
your Surfside update with the Cavs. So what did Donovan Mitchell have to say?
I was a fan once. I'd boo us too. We're not playing well. The city deserves better than what we've been given, and we got to go out there and figure it out. If we want to be who we want to be,
getting booed.
But we got to go out there and figure it out as a collective.
We are going to devote way more time to the Cavs, I think, later in the week.
I have to.
So it's me watching Cavs basketball all weekend.
I think they had a 2-hour delay today down there. Friday was an abomination.
Yes.
Friday was an abomination.
Yeah, what was worse? This loss because you didn't have Evan Mobley or that win?
It started, I felt my old Cavs building up to where last year it was just all right, you expect to run everybody off the floor. And now I'm like, all right, when are you guys going to just, have they blown out anybody? Can we blow out anybody at all?
They don't seem capable.
Man, I had to pick Axel up at a birthday party, and I'm driving and I'm listening to it. I'm going, man, we just gonna let everybody hang around. And then we were down by umpteen points at one point, and then came back and beat him because it's Washington. But I didn't even feel good about the win. And then I felt really sour about the loss yesterday. I was already in a bad enough mood after the Browns. I tune in. The diff is down 8. I go, great, I'm going to watch this. And then it never got any better. You click, you forget for a second. You walk back into the room, and you see him down by 14, and then that was the end of it.
Yeah. It was really bad.
I didn't forget for a second. I went to the bathroom. I didn't know any other way to say it.
Do we have time for the Heisman?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right.
Lima likes it, I guess.
All right.
Lima likes it.
Fernando Mendoza, your Heisman winner, pretty much a runaway winner. Julian Sayin finishing 4th. So if you're wondering if that Big Ten game mattered, the championship game mattered, it mattered because he was the favorite going in, and he slipped to 4th. But I thought the story of the weekend, we're not going to play a clip right now. The story of the weekend was Diego Pavia. He went to New York.
You can't play any of his clips.
He had himself a party for the ages.
He's got that light right now. You can write things on.
All right. Do you know when you go to the club, Kenny?
I haven't been to the club in a decade.
Well, in these days, when you go to the club, no matter where you are, there is signage that comes out to commemorate the fact that you purchased a bottle. The sign that came out for Diego Pavia, it wasn't that he finished second place in a Heisman, which is what my sign would have said. I think that's hey, I finished second in the Heisman. That's pretty good. His said blank Indiana. So,
if they would have wrote it in the sparklers.
Does this make him undraftable? Kenny, the Shador people are like, why isn't anybody criticized? Everybody criticized him. I didn't see one person not criticize Diego Pavia over the weekend.
It's just but the difference is I take Shador seriously. I don't take this guy seriously at all. He's just a goof.
I do not either.
Yes.
It is entertainment.
Very fun to watch, very entertaining.
Yeah.
Please never be anywhere near any football team that I ever like to watch.
Did you see him standing next to Fernando Mendoza, by the way? It looked like Mendoza was a 7-foot giant.
Watching Shador, in college, I'm like, okay, he's going to be a quarterback, and our team could possibly draft him. I've had a lot of fun watching Diego Pavia because none of that is serious. I don't take him seriously at all.
I wouldn't, had we not have taken Shador and then Dylan Gabriel and then been in position to take another quarterback, I would say this would be a Haslam pick. He would take Diego Pavia. That's it for Lima Likes.
Coming up at 8:20, the dangerous one, Darryl Ryder. Coming up in 5 minutes, Jerry Judy is wrong. Browns fans are right. Sorry, I don't make the rules. That's how it works, my friend. Ken Carman, Anthony Lima. Take us with you to work on the free Odyssey app.
Anthony Lima.
From the University Hospital Sports Desk, I'm Jeff Thomas.
Just like you, they're still talking about yesterday's game. The Afternoon Drive, weekdays at 2. 92.3 The Fan.
It's gonna happen, so it is what it is. I'm not one to, ever kick somebody down when you're down. He understands that's a big play, and I'm sure he's hard on himself, so it's no need for me to be extra and do that.
That's Shedeur Sanders yesterday on the interception that was caught by Jerry Judy, and then it wasn't caught by Jerry Judy. It was taken away from Jerry Judy by Jalen Johnson. Jalen Johnson made a great play.
I thought it was a great play.
Here is Jerry Judy on the play.
Move on pretty quickly. It's part of the game. It's football. There's some plays that are going to happen like that, and sometimes you're going to make it. You can't let one play define your character, define who I am as a football player. That one play out of 102 plays, that don't define me. So, I just keep pushing, keep playing, let the pass be the pass.
That's the problem with Judy. If it were one play, it's been 100 plays that have defined him this year.
You don't let the past be the past. You're bothered by everything. You are bothered by everything. He's got rabbit ears. He is bothered by everything everybody says, everybody does, everything. So you can't, I think you're saying, like, it's when I wake up and go, today's the day I'm going to diet and exercise. And I'm thinking, a steak bagel sounds good right now. And then that's the way the day goes. I mean, I can admit to that. And I think he should. One play doesn't define me. Okay, I think a lot of folks, maybe you are right and I'm wrong. I think a lot of folks in Cleveland would define you by the Raiders play that I defended him on.
Wait, which one?
I got so excited he was trying to make a play.
There's so many.
When he was trying to make a play and he got the ball knocked out from
when
underneath.
He just stopped in animation, lingering there.
He tried to put a move on and it ended up getting the ball knocked out from his arms, and then that was the end of it. Yeah, that was it.
And then the drops. He's led the NFL in drops for 2 years. So these are all plays that are part of the Jerry Judy experience, not to mention the sulking and all the stuff that was known about him in Denver. See, this was the thing when they made the trade. Why did the Browns, when people say bet on talent. Yeah, but there's a lot of wide receivers. There's so many wide receivers, Ken. Every year, there's 15 new ones that come into the NFL that I all feel like if they had the right quarterback thrown to them, they'd be decent. They'd be able to put up numbers. Why did you identify this one and just were you assuming that everybody in Denver was lying about him? When Sean Payton is like, I need to get my culture right, the first thing I'm doing, first order of business, is saying bye-bye to Jerry Judy. Why did we think this is a great place to foster this? And this is a great place to bring in the talent and to allow it to bake, to marinate, and it'll all come together as part of the recipe and a finished product here in Cleveland, Ohio, of all things.
So that's why, I'm at the point now where I don't think if you're going to make moves, if you're going to get rid of the coach, I don't think the coach is enough. I think you got to go the whole way because this is still in it. You don't get it. I'm sorry. There's no human element to this. Everything looks good on a sheet, but then on a field where it counts, they are not able to execute for a million little reasons, and most of it is there's very little cohesion at all. There's no accountability. As you brought up many times within the coaching staff, that means it trickles down to the actual roster. Everything is done on the sheets, and the sheets are important. But and I wish I could find the person who tweeted it at me. There's a difference between being data informed and data driven. And if you're going to be too data driven, you run into the problems the Browns have. You run into these problems. There is no feel for what makes a football team. Sean Payton, and God, I was wrong just because I don't like the guy. This is not a likable coach. He's really, really good.
He's unbelievable.
And he knows what makes a team tick. He knows people. Kyle Shanahan, prickly with the media, knows what makes a team tick. It's really, he did grow up in a locker room. He would know pretty well. Sean Payton's in his 60s now. He's been around forever. He would know pretty well.
They are 12-2. Do you guys know where the Denver Broncos were a few years ago?
They're right at the bottom with us.
12-2. And their quarterback, who probably played the best game of his life, has been very average to below average.
Average at best, I would say, this year.
And
average
he's
12-2. And they're 12-2, and they've put together a complete team because they know what it takes to put together a good locker room. And we don't. And we never have in 6 years. We don't have it.
Ken. This is honestly more important than anything we've talked about over the last 6 months.
And people just they want to get their excitement and go nuts on this. I'm not doing a show for social media. I'm telling you guys the truth because you guys know this. It's not a war on intelligence. It's a fight for common sense. It's a fight to know what makes people tick. It's a fight to know the type of people you have to have in the locker room. Not a bunch of choir boys, not a bunch of Boy Scouts. That's not what it is. Are you going to pay the fiddler when it's time to do it? Are you the guy that can call people out and then still answer the bell yourself? And these other teams have it, and we rarely ever have. It's rearing its head now, guys, but you know I'm as dead ass right about this as I've been about anything, because even you're agreeing. Look at the symptoms over the last few years, and you've been able to get away with it with a couple of hot hands. But when you have backup quarterbacks giving the pregame speech, you know how weird it is to try to give a pregame speech and then walk to the sidelines and put on your headset? Like, what? What? 1-year contract guys on defense, getting the defense going. And that goes up at the Myles Garrett as well. Sorry. But we all know what Myles Garrett does. We accept that. That's the way it is. But when you have Anthony Walker Jr. doing it, when you have now Jerome Baker doing it, when you had Rodney McLeod doing it, these are short-term contract, not here long guys. And when they have to be the leaders on your football team, that's a problem. That's why I'm like, man, I hope Carson Schlesinger is taking every one of these losses as hard as possible, because he's got to be the one to get these guys going in the future. It's too late for Myles. It's too late for Denzel. It's too late for so many of them. Like, they have to be able to lead them forward. I thought JOK could be that guy. Fate might have taken that away from us, I'm sad to say. But that's the difference. Because you go and you get Amari Cooper. Bad things were being said about him because people say things about every guy out the door. This was going on in Denver. So you felt you could get away with it again because you took Amari Cooper, and Amari Cooper ended up being great, which only you gave up a 5th-round pick for him. Except this one with Jerry Judy, now it's rearing its ugly head. And Jarvis Landry before, remember, that was John. That wasn't Andrew. So if you're going to make these moves, I think it's got to be everybody, because you still won't solve the problem. You still won't solve it. All these teams have used your blueprints, and they've moved on past you, and they've laughed at you. When you started this 10 years ago, these guys who are 35, 36 now, they were running copies, and they were assistant tight end coaches, and now they're in it. And so they know what makes a team move and the data. Look at Ben Johnson. Ben Johnson ain't just some play caller. Look at this. So that's why there's moves to be made. I mean, I can look at every great big thing that they've done, and I'll scream until the day is long about wristbands and the non-answers and answers about guys either being hurt or not being hurt, and why you moved around offensive linemen and all the other silly crap that we talk about for a long time. But it all comes back down to this, is that there's no common sense within anybody in charge. There's no common sense. There's no, if we bring in this guy, this could happen. If we bring in this guy, that could happen. There's none of it. There's none of it. That's why, that's why people, every time we bring up a quarterback, oh God, oh geez, oh God. Because your organization has been so bad that any of those guys you bring in, it's either fake, or they're not ready for it, or they're just not good enough, or take your pick. So there's no common sense within it. That's what you've been fighting for so many years. Go ahead. Sorry, I got upset there and had to keep going. Go ahead.
Judy has been a total disaster. And I know, it's like if we had Patrick Mahomes, who, by the way, out tore his ACL, and the Chiefs are going to be out of the playoffs. It's pretty crazy. This has been, even if they had, Josh Allen, Jared Judy's numbers would be better and all that. I get it. Like, he's had no quarterbacks throwing to him this year. But, they're losing that game no matter what yesterday. But if he's able to make that catch on a throw that was right there from Shedeur Sanders, we are talking about at least more of a ball game and more ways to evaluate a quarterback. Instead, once that happened, game was over. There's nothing to evaluate. He's going to get sacked a bunch more times. They know you're passing. They know you're throwing to Harold Fannin on every play, or occasional bomb to Isaiah Bond, which you can't live on that. That's not realistic.
That's not offense.
Yeah.
That's not offense.
That's not. It's pretty. There were a couple amazing throws and then one he missed, but that's not.
But that's why I was excited and about the possibilities after the Tennessee game, not this, and not really after the Vegas game. I was more excited about the possibilities after Tennessee because you had an offense. You moved the ball. You moved the ball. You went down the field. You made the right reads. You did the right things. This was off schedule, and because of the lack of preparation that it seemed to be from the organization, I go, what were you guys doing with them all week? What were we doing all week? But we couldn't do it because we had new guys in, and that's where I keep going. Guys, I know what the pass block win rate says, but this ain't going to help them. They are not set up for success with him. It's set up for failure. He does not have enough time to dig them out of it. I don't think he's going to have the opportunity to dig them out of it, and Jerry Judy is just another big example of that. Just disappears and gets upset, and hey, man, I know I tried to sympathize, but after that, it's like even the good plays end up being bad plays some way, somehow. It's just a mess, and you can't get to the end of the season fast enough. 3 weeks left, turn in the equipment, and then let's start to look forward to something positive, for the love of God. And if that means changes, then damn it, so be it. Coming up next, the dangerous one, Daryl Ryder. Who did Daryl call an energy vampire on his post-game show yesterday? Ken Carman, Anthony Lima. We'll find out next on The Fan. K&K.
now. And this is the worst Browns team I've seen in history, okay? They have all this talent, but yet they're the worst team. Why? Because they quit playing. They quit playing for each other. They quit playing for the coach. They quit playing for the fans. The only reason they're showing up is for the millions of dollars, and that's the only reason. They don't care that they're losing. You don't see these guys coming out complaining or nothing. This is sad and pathetic. They need to forfeit the rest of the season. It'd be better than watching this crap.
I think there's a lot of guys who probably agree with you on that team. That was the coming in hotline. You can do the same. Go ahead, get the free Odyssey app, like the station on the free Odyssey app. Then you go ahead and leave a message. 30 seconds. It's not my rule. They give you 2 minutes, but Owen's like, nah, if you go like a way longer time, he ain't going to get in.
Not going to listen to it. So.
But if you can get it in 30 seconds, Owen might get you on the air. If you don't have time to be on hold, 216-474-0092. Go like the station. Right next to Listen Live button says leave a message. That's the coming in hotline. Make sure you go on in hot. All right, let's bring in Daryl. Daryl's brought to you by Heisman Jewelers, Cleveland's premier jewelry store. Hello, Daryl.
Hello, boys.
Daryl, I mean, what the hell, right? And I got somebody, we are running down a former NFL quarterback that might have an explanation about the wristbands, but this is, you know, they looked uninspired. It looked like they were clocking in to do a job they didn't want to do yesterday. I think they've quit on the team. I think they've quit on the coach. I think they've quit on the organization. I think it gives Browns fans every single right to want to quit on this and want something different and want change. Yesterday was just one of the worst performances I think I've ever seen, and that's saying something. And I think that no matter what anybody says when they call in, if they're wanting change, I've told them, I said, I will not stand in your way. I said, that's it. I hold myself to a standard. I don't call all that crap. I like to say to myself, but this is just untenable here, Daryl.
Yeah, we just can't defend the indefensible.
Exactly.
I mean, the fact that Shedeur Sanders took the field with the wrong wristband, I really don't care what the circumstances are. I don't care who's to blame. It's something that just should not happen. It's the Brownsiest thing ever. This is what this franchise has been. This is what, unfortunately, it continues to be. And they don't know how to build a team from ownership on down. God love the Haslams. They spend a ton of money. They want to win more than anybody. They don't know how to do it. They don't know how to hire the right people. And then when the people come in here, they don't know how to build a team. And you're seeing the byproducts of that. And the shame of it is that this is not a team this year that's devoid of talent. There is talent on both sides of the ball. Obviously, more talent on the defensive side. The offensive line has been decimated. You got practice squad guys now having to play significant roles up front, but that organization does not know how to win. They do not know how to build a team. They don't, they talk the big game, but they never produce it for their fans. And I got news for you. Kevin Stefanski's probably going to get fired. It don't matter. I don't think it's going to matter, guys.
Well, I'm at the point now, Daryl, where I think that if one's going to go, they both got to go.
Yeah, well, here's the thing. Andrew Berry's the one that saddled him with this. Andrew Berry traded for Jerry Judy. Andrew Berry didn't invest in the offensive line. Like, you can't allow finally, 6 years in, he drafted a class that's worth something. You can't allow that to overshadow the previous 5 years. He inherited... Coming back to Cleveland, he spent a year in Philadelphia. When he came back to Cleveland, he inherited a team that was ready to win consistently. It was a nice young nucleus. Now, by the time the Browns can get in a position to win, Myles Garrett's going to be out of the prime of his career. Denzel Ward's going to be out of the prime of his career. Joel Bitonio is going to be retired. David Njoku's probably not even going to be here. The original core that was supposed to deliver this sustained success coming out of 1-31 and 4-44, that's gone. You're basically back to square one. You have a very expensive roster. You have an older roster. You have an underperforming roster. Stop me if we've not heard this movie before in regimes gone by. They go for two without having the personnel to execute. Well, that's what the spreadsheet told me to do. So here, Jimmy, please don't fire me. I did what the spreadsheet told me to do. Like, that's not how you play this sport. You have to have a feel. Data is great. Information is great. Your application of it is terrible as an organization. You have no feel. You don't have the personnel to go for 2-point conversions. Okay? I don't care if the spread, if it says you have a higher win probability if you go for 2 after scoring that first touchdown down 14 points. Does not matter if you don't have the people to execute it. And that's what they're hiding behind their data. I'm just doing what the data's telling me to do. That's not coaching. That's not sound, solid decision making. So, I'm with you, Ken. Blow everyone out. They all got to go. Start it over again. But I'm here to tell you it's not going to matter. It's just a vicious cycle. I have no trust and faith and belief that anyone in that building knows what it takes to win at the level that's required in the National Football League, in a sport that is built to allow you to turn your franchises around in rapid fashion and have sustained success. This team can't do it.
Daryl Ryder joining us. What'd you think of Shedeur yesterday?
It's hard to evaluate because he didn't have a whole lot of help. He made a couple really poor decisions, no question about it. 2 of the 3 interceptions absolutely on him. I do like that he's not retreating from the line of scrimmage when he's under pressure. The Bears clearly, and it makes sense because he is a rookie quarterback, and when you looked at the college tape, it told you, apply the pressure, and that's what the Bears did. I think they went in like with a 20 to 30% pressure rate, and yesterday it was about 60%, it felt like. And I like the fact that he's stepping up in the pocket. He's still he's trying to extend the plays without giving up massive chunks of yardage behind the line of scrimmage. He made some throws yesterday, the 2 completions to Isaiah Bond down the field, love those. He can't throw a more perfect ball to Jerry Judy than he did. That's not his fault that pass got picked off. Jerry Judy just isn't earning his money, and we're basically getting a front row seat as to why Sean Payton and the Denver Broncos couldn't get him out of there fast enough. And hey, here are the Browns. Not only did the Browns trade for this dude, but Andrew Berry couldn't get a contract extension in front of him fast enough.
You called him an energy vampire yesterday.
Yeah, he's had a really awful. I had to watch myself there. He's had a lousy attitude for like the last half and a month, and it has shown up on the field. By the way, did Shedeur bark in his face after that interception because he's the one that messed that up? Because, Jerry doesn't hesitate to bark in everyone else's faces on the sideline. So, yeah, I'm pretty much done with that dude. I really am. I don't. I have to go and look today if they can cut him next year, but I would get him out of that locker room as fast as possible. He doesn't help the team on the field, and I don't think he helps the team off the field.
Daryl Ryder joining us on the show. It's hard to disagree with you. I thought yesterday... I looked at what the roster was or the depth chart was before the game. I didn't have a great feeling about it. Yeah. I don't think that he's, we're talking about evaluation and things like that. I don't think that he's in a position to be evaluated with any realism whatsoever.
I think that's fair.
Because of that, where he was taken, and you just said, okay, we'll probably get a whole new group in here. And I know the clock is ticking. They're not liking hearing this. There's a lot of people who are upset with it. But I'm just like, we got to make ourselves comfortable with the idea of taking a quarterback at number 1 or number 2. It's just if they can trade up, they're going to trade up, and you can hem and haw all you want, but we got to make ourselves comfortable with it because there is some good players on the team that will be here next year, and we will still be saying the same thing next year. We'll just have different people to blame next year for all this. So I think we just might as well get ourselves ready because he is not set up for success, and he does not have enough time, and there's not enough invested in him to keep going into next year. They're going to make a change.
Yeah, I agree with you, and it's a shame because I do feel like there is something there with Shedeur. Now, I'm not sitting here and saying that that he's the franchise savior we've all been waiting for, but there is talent there. I mean, he has made some throws here and on a fairly consistent basis that we're just not used to seeing Browns quarterbacks make. He just doesn't have a good supporting cast around him. And I would like to know what this kid would look like with a healthy offensive line in front of him. I would like to know what this kid looks like with a competent wide receiver room around him, right? Harold Fannin Jr., as much as I love Harold Fannin Jr., big fan, but he's like the safety blanket right now, it feels like. And that's not a criticism of Harold. It's not a criticism of Shedeur. Like, that's just the reality. Like, he's the one guy that Shedeur is comfortable throwing the ball. Like, Jerry Judy complaining that he's not getting the ball and he's not getting opportunities. Well, we're starting to see why he's not getting opportunities. Shedeur keeps talking about trust, building trust with guys. And last week was great. The 60-yard touchdown to Jude, that was great. But you got to go out and do it again this week too. You've got to be consistent to earn that trust, and that's not it's not Shedeur Sanders' job to trust you just because you play the position. You have to earn that trust as well, and Jerry's not done that. So, there's something there, though, with Shedeur. And it's unfortunate that, like you said, Ken, we can't get a true and fair evaluation of this guy right now just because everything's a dumpster fire around him. Again, can't take the field with the right wristband. That's where the Browns, again, whether or not it was on accident, it fell out, whatever the story is, and, this is an organization that never can get their story straight. We hear one thing from a player.
What was the Stefanski answer yesterday?
He's going to get it fixed.
That was as
he's
bad
gonna
as
get
I
it
get.
fixed, Ken. He's going to get it fixed.
No, that would have been better. That would have been better than what happened. I mean, the response. I mean, can we play it for Daryl again? Can we play this for everybody again, please? This is Stefanski when asked about it yesterday.
Early on, was there something wrong with Sanders' wristband?
Yeah, there was a miscommunication early.
They mentioned that you guys had the wrong plays in the wristband on the first two drives. Is that accurate?
No. Yeah. There was something, I don't know if the wristband got something on it or whatever it was, but there was we got that fixed pretty quickly.
Holy dear God.
What, no. Someone ran to the locker room and hit print?
I don't know. And I'm like,
Yeah.
What a terrible answer.
I listen, and again, it goes. Kevin's going to get it fixed, but then he never fixes it, right? I mean, that's the issue. And again, I'm a Kevin Stefanski fan, but I can't defend the indefensible, guys. I can't do it. There's just too many basic mistakes. I think they had 2 penalties and snapped the ball once yesterday. Right out of the gate, special teams gives up another 50-yard return just to start the game. The Bears started their first 2 drives in Browns territory. It should have been. They're lucky it wasn't 14-0 in the blink of an eye. Like, it's just it's unexplainable the level of incompetence with this organization, and it's tolerated. That's the thing. It's tolerated. Bubba Ventrone is still employed. It's tolerated.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that.
It's mind-boggling. And again, I have no faith that the Haslams are going to hire the right people again. How many times have they done this? Right? And no one knows how to build a team in that building. Nobody knows how to build a team in that building, from ownership on down. And ownership does everything football operations asks of them. You need heat in the fields? Fine. Here's a couple $1 million. Put some heat in the field so you can go out and practice. Okay? You need a weight room. Here's a couple more $1 million. There's your weight room. Oh, you need a VR center. Okay, here's a couple more $1 million. There's your VR center, so you can do that. Oh, the training rooms are subpar. Well, here's a few more $1 million. There you go. I can't sit here and criticize and blame the Haslams for not supporting the football operation. They're doing everything and anything they can from a financial standpoint to support it and give them the tools they need to win. Just the front office doesn't spend the money well, and, I don't think that the coaching staff is spending the money well either.
Daryl, quickly, what happened to the defense yesterday, and are they all just trying to get Myles Garrett the record?
Yeah, well, I do think everyone's trying to get him the record, and he's, I think, going to get it. They're spent. Wouldn't you be spent? Like, I mean, I'm not trying to make excuses for them. They didn't play well, and we'll talk to Jim Schwartz on Thursday, and he'll be asked about having to defend short fields again and say, hey, we didn't do our job, had to get off the field even with a short field. But I think that those guys on that side of the ball have given everything that they have this season, and it's not nearly close to enough because the offense and special teams is just so god-awful.
Daryl, thank you very much for the time. We'll talk to you Friday.
You bet, guys.
Daryl Rutter on the show.
He's brought to you by Scheibman Jewelers, Cleveland's premier jewelry store.
We have a former NFL quarterback who might have an explanation for the wristbands, and I think he's more of a victim of the Browns than anything I saw yesterday. Ken Carman, Anthony Lima, take us with you to work on the free Odyssey app. Tom Merriman and Merriman Lee.
92.3 The Fan and see if our hosts make your reaction a part of our shows. Powered by Scheiben Jewelers, Cleveland's premier jewelry store.
All right, we have before we get to whether or not he was bad or just a victim of the Browns, we have an explanation possibly for the wristband miscue. What you got?
So we reached out to former Browns quarterback living in Massachusetts. That would be Brian Hoyer. Because we said at the start of the show, we had never seen anything like this. We never heard of anything like this. Brian Hoyer says he has seen it happen several times. He says the cards in the wristband change from game to game. I've had instances where a quarterback grabs the wrong wristband out of a locker, or sometimes where the wrong cards are printed off, or even where there are two of the correct ones and one wrong one. The team's quality control guy would grab the wristbands after each game and bring them down pregame each week to avoid those types of mistakes. He said he would always double check the wristband and confirm with the call sheet after he saw it happen several times.
So this happens. So does that make it excusable?
I don't know. I mean, you've got who are the veterans? Who are the veterans who might be able to, like, if Joe Flacco was still there, wouldn't they be talking? Was Deshaun Watson, was he even there yesterday?
Yeah, that's what makes this different from grabbing it out of the wrong locker, right? You're on the road.
You're on the road.
So somebody would have had to packed up all your stuff from home, and it's not even like they play. Their facility and their stadium are miles apart. So I
don't know. It's rough. I mean, this is still pretty bad.
It's rough. It's silly. It's all those words.
Like, put it this way, and this is not this. Just I'm going to try to. I'm going to speak slowly because I know how this is going to be perceived.
Yeah.
If Aaron Rodgers was your quarterback yesterday, he figures that out before the game. You have a rookie who's trying to balance 1,000 things, who's wasn't even supposed to play this year, if you believe the reporting about Kevin Stefanski. And this is a lot for him to try to. You're going up against a playoff team, the cold weather. Shador's got to figure out even what to wear.
Well, this is why
he's never played in anything like this.
This is why I'm saying, like, I could sit here and rip him all day long. He's a victim of being on the Browns.
Yeah.
Somebody like there's a couple of people, and I've tweeted back and forth with this guy before because I know that he's gotten into it with Shador people. And it's like, well, you guys wanted to rip Dylan Gabriel. Like, no, Dylan Gabriel's also a victim of the Browns. Dylan Gabriel shouldn't have been drafted in the third round, and Shador Sanders should have been playing before him, and neither guy should be having to play on this team that isn't very conducive to letting anybody have success. That's the issue. That's the whole issue we have with all this. There's nothing there.
But you live and learn.
Other than more failure.
And this is why it's so hard for Shador. Because he's got incompetence above him that he's trying to swim through. And so it's what makes, I understand why people see the beautiful throws in the fourth quarter last week, the dimes that he dropped, whether it was to Judy or to Bond, some of the nice throws to Fannin, the scramble at the start of the game. He's definitely had moments for you to see, okay, he's talented, should have been taken in the fifth round. But to overcome all that, so much so to where the team, whoever is running this franchise next year, whoever the head coach is, and we made it abundantly clear at the start of the show, it will not be Kevin Stefanski. Right? You agree?
Yeah.
Owen agrees. Everybody here agrees.
I got an excerpt from Albert's piece here to read. When you're done.
All I'm saying is he's got to overcome all of that. It's not fair. This league is not fair. And I don't see him overcoming it. I think it's going to be too tall a task with that receiving room, this offensive line where it is. That's why I think they're going to draft a quarterback.
Because in the next 3 games, we're going to look at it, and like today, I firmly believe, and you're just making excuses for Shador. Fine. I mean, I like the Cleveland Browns. They're better at making excuses than any team combined. Today, I am saying, hey, I think that he's a victim of being on the Browns, and this wristband stuff is another example of that. But I think as we go over the next 3 games, people are going to go, yeah, maybe you should start to be prepared for the things that you can't even be prepared for. And then they will go on in another direction. And when they bring new people in, it is understood that they are obsessed with it, and they will go for people, and they will go for a quarterback and go in another direction. This is part of what Albert Breer wrote today, or I should say last night. He'll be on with Afternoon Drive tomorrow. In one of his excerpts in Monday Morning Quarterback says, I love Kevin Stefanski as a coach, and I think he'd be a really good hire for someone if he became available. But that Browns team looked flat as a pancake in Chicago, and I'm getting to the point where I wonder if you can just run all this back in 2026, or maybe everyone would be better with a fresh start. Yes, everybody would be better with a fresh start. I think that I do believe in such a thing as self-sabotage. I do believe in such a thing as if you believe that there's going to be an outcome, you will do things that take you to that outcome. If you are in a situation you don't want to be in anymore, you will do things to sabotage yourself to be taken from that situation. I believe in it. And I think that this is not something they would have done in 2020. This is not something they would have done in 2021 or 20. I mean, they've been losing games before. They just have never looked this disorganized or ill-prepared for anything. And it's done. This is over. They cannot have this. That's it. That's if you are a bad football team and I can say you're organized, that's one thing. I could try to make an argument for you. I can't argue if your quarterback isn't out there with the right stuff. I can't argue if you're out there with the wrong personnel. I can't argue for you if you still have 12 going into the huddle. I don't care if you have guys who just brought in off the street. You weren't doing that before. You had Blake Hance go out there in a playoff game before, and you weren't this disorganized. And I can't just keep preaching and begging Bill Callahan to come back. We all love Bill Callahan, but good God. If that's the case, then you've let one after another of your good coaching staff go, and this is a mess. We're doing the same thing over again to the point where I've just flatly given up on arguing anything on the Bubba Ventrone front, and it boils my blood on a Thursday when he takes those little jabs at the roster. And those little jabs a little bit would turn into Andrew Berry, because you're not really supposed to do that as a assistant coach.
No, you are not.
You're not supposed to do that. So you could say he's speaking up for his head coach. You don't want any of them here. And if you're still blaming those guys who are at the back end of that roster, I'm sorry. You look bad by teams that are also bad. You looked at your worst against Tennessee and against the Jets. So they're dealing with back ends of the roster. Did Tennessee play yesterday? Did they get boat raced? I'm sure they did.
They hung in there against San Francisco.
Oh, they did? Okay, I'm sorry. I'm thinking about the Jets because they got hammered. And the Raiders got hammered.
Yes, Kenny Pickett.
The Cardinals got hammered.
It's quick.
There's a lot of teams just getting smashed.
It's I quit portion of the schedule. What is it going to look like against Buffalo?
It's completely unacceptable, and it needs to run its course. That's it. I'm not going to... I've been madder before. I don't know if I've been this disappointed before, because the group that's supposed to be so organized, so ready to go, so majorly prepared for everything was anything but yesterday. So you could look at your team. If I would have said you were to quit on Kevin Stefanski and the coaching staff, you could always say we were prepared, we were ready, we were organized. You were none of that. So how am I supposed to just sit there and rip the players for quitting on you? Because that's what it looked like yesterday. It was a flat performance of guys who just had to clock in and do a job they didn't want to do and wish they were somewhere else, wish they had a day off. How can I rip them when you didn't look prepared yourselves? From top to bottom. And I don't leave Andrew Berry out of any of this, because I could sit here and rip all the personnel. Who picked him? Who picked the guy who's complaining about the passing again? Who traded for the guy and paid the guy that Daryl's calling an energy vampire out there and really calling a poison to the locker room? Let's say it what it is. And if he's poison in the locker room, then he's poisoning your quarterback, folks. Because how often is that going to be? Is the pressure going to turn on where he's just looking at 3 no matter what? Because he's very comfortable with Harold Fannin. Are we just going to pressure him until he's looking at 3 no matter what, and then he starts to force some other mistakes? Because I can't do that either. That's what I'm pointing out. It is a lack of anything that could be evaluated. You can't evaluate ineptitude. It's just done. You guys coming up. 216-474-0092. Maybe I'm making excuses. Maybe I'm wrong. You're agreeing with me. I don't think he was bad. I thought he was a victim of being on the Browns.
I thought he had next to no chance yesterday.
It doesn't change how I feel about the future, which is unfortunate to say the least. But I don't think that he was bad. I think that he's a quarterback for the Browns in December. 216-474-0092. You guys coming up in 5 minutes. Also, blame for failure much more on a guy in an office or a guy on a sideline. And my prediction is turning into Len Barker's perfect game. That's all coming up in the next hour on The Fan. Friends, Ken Carman here for Northeast.
Dolphins. Coverage starts tonight at 7 o'clock right here on 92.3 The Fan. From the University Hospital Sports Desk, I'm Jeff Thomas.
Listen to 92.3 The Fan on the Odyssey, iHeartRadio, and TuneIn app.
Looking for a winner. Hey, want to see the Cavs? You can do so. Enter the code word CITY at 923thefan.com before 10 a.m. Your chance to see the Cavs take on the Charlotte Hornets in a City Edition matchup. Monday, December 22nd at 7 p.m. at Rocket Arena. They have to avenge the overtime loss yesterday. Get your tickets at Cavs.com/tickets. It's all from the Cavaliers and Sports Radio, 923 The Fan.
Ken Carman, Tone Master General. I'm at my wits' end. No, it's not the wits' end. I have all my wits right now. I've lost my mind far more over this. This is just, I'm trying to find different ways to not say what I'm thinking that I don't want to say because I've never done it in 17 years on the radio, 18 years on the radio, and I don't want this to be the time I do it. I mean, if I had a guy who didn't like me personally to a weird level and I wouldn't say it for him, I'm not going to say it for anybody else. I'm not going to lower my standard for it. It ain't going to happen. However, if you call in and say it, because once I say it, it has to be done. Well, we still have 3 more games and they ain't making any changes. They're not making any changes. So I will say, if it's Kenny Carman's team at the end of the season, we got to move on. We have to make moves. We have to move on. If Kevin Stefanski can be a great coach somewhere else, God bless him. If Andrew Berry can be a great general manager somewhere else, God bless him too. Fine people, but this is at its end. There are good people who lose positions all the time. If you call in and you say guys need to go, I'm not arguing anymore. That's it. That went out the window yesterday. I'm as clear-headed and open and honest as I've ever been. You have butchered this year to an obscene level. It's been a waste of every fan's effort, time, their heart, their desire. Everything has been wasted for this fan base. Everything has been wasted for the people who love this team because you ran it back after 3 wins and you're going to get the same exact amount back. And yeah, I know what I said before the season, where now it's becoming Len Barker's perfect game, where Rob Shenanigans on Twitter said, I woke up this morning, he's like, I can't believe Ken Carman said they win 10 games ago. I didn't say they win 10 games. I said
11, Owen?
I said, no.
What did he say?
I remember, yeah.
I
somewhere
said
around 12.
I said 6.
It was 13, wasn't it?
I said 6, and then because I'm a dope and I'm an emotional person, I got talked into saying 8. Because we had people going, you guys are supposed to make us feel better about this season. We got the first week of the season. You guys aren't even getting excited for the season. So I changed against my better judgment.
And that's why things like that make me remember when you said they'd win 14 games this
year. The 14-3 was
did not
ridiculous.
Say they were going to win 14 games.
That was ridiculous.
I did not say any of that
would
stuff.
only get like 6 wins.
I didn't say any of that stuff. But I don't know what I'm going to do for the next 3 games because I expect more of the same. I will actually be more astounded and more surprised if they are organized over the next 3 games. Because this is the game they quit, and that was cold weather. It's probably going to be cold for the rest of the year. These are all outdoor venues that they're playing in. 2 more home games, 1 against the Cincinnati Bengals. It's going to be all Bills fans on Sunday. It'll be all Steelers fans the Sunday after that. And then you go down to Cincinnati. I don't know if anybody's going to be in the stands for that one. That might look like a COVID game.
Who's going to be quarterbacking that game?
For who? For which team? I mean, Joe Burrow looks like he's going to go dig a hole and sit in it until next year.
He had one of the saddest press conferences I've ever seen a quarterback.
Shedeur Sanders will be the quarterback for the rest of this season. He better be the quarterback for the rest of this season, unless something bad happens.
I just didn't know if behind this offensive line, they would get to the point at the last game of the year where they'd be like, he's healthy going into the offseason. We don't want to risk another game.
Why?
Well, just because
I have to evaluate.
Well, but that's the thing.
Quote unquote.
If he got injured in that game, then it changes everything.
I mean, he's a football player. He's a football player. Football players do get hurt. They run the risk of getting hurt.
I know, but you see quarterbacks all the time get shelved in Week 18.
Do we?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Who?
Yes, you do.
Baker Mayfield.
Those are teams that aren't going to the playoffs.
Baker? No, you. I don't.
Yes,
think
you do.
No, I don't think you
yes,
do.
You do. How many Week 18s have we been sitting here and the quarterbacks are Jeff Driscoll?
For this team, and you. Whoa, wait a minute! You're not saying the right thing. You need to reevaluate this.
I'm not.
Oh, okay, that's fine because
Week 18 is a bizarre. It's always Week 17 before, but now we have 18 weeks. It's always bizarre football. It's
sorry.
It's not anything like the rest of the season.
Were you not one of the ones that hammered Baker Mayfield for sitting out Week 18 after they were out of the playoff race? You didn't hammer him for that?
Did the team shelve him for that game?
Oh, that's how you took it.
No, I'm asking.
We weren't to understand that he was shelving himself?
I'm being dead honest. I don't remember.
No.
I blocked out the end of the Baker Mayfield.
If you're a franchise quarterback, you're expected to finish the season with your team. If they just lost that game, Patrick Mahomes isn't sitting the rest of the season.
I don't think he would have played the last week.
He would have played.
You wouldn't want...
Patrick Mahomes would have played.
You wouldn't want what just happened to happen.
Patrick Mahomes would have played.
It throws the whole offseason into turbulence.
I understand what you're saying, but Patrick Mahomes would have played.
Am I wrong, Owen? Don't guys...
I think you are wrong.
Don't guys get benched at the end? Or
I don't think Patrick Mahomes would have played.
You don't think he would have played?
Yeah.
Oh, I think you both are crazy. I think you guys are nuts. Franchise quarterbacks play.
Yeah, I don't...
Don't we see so many strange quarterbacks in the last week of the year every year?
You only see them.
Am I mistaken?
No, you will see them if they got the playoffs and they're taking time off, but you're finishing the season. Come hell or high water. If you're the franchise guy, you're finishing the year.
I'm not advocating for him not to. I'm just saying I see teams do that all the time because
I don't.
Especially now in this situation, we don't know who's going to be back next year.
If I'm wrong, I'm wrong, but I don't think I'm wrong. I really don't. I'm kind of going in. I'm not yelling at you.
I know.
Because I'm not necessarily sure, but I think that if they weren't in the playoffs, he's still finishing the season. That was one of the major issues that I know that Baker Mayfield's teammates had with him back in 2021 is that, now we're out of the playoff picture now, so officially out of the playoff picture, so now you can sit. Well, I'm going to go out there and play again, go be cold and risk injury. Okay. So what was this all about? Was this about you just getting paid, or was this about us actually trying? Like, that matters. And Shedeur, I just need more time. I just need all the time we can get. Because I don't need to see anybody else at that position. So if he gets hurt, then obviously you got to do what you got to do. But if he's healthy to go, I'm going to see him for the next 3 games. That's where I'm at on that. 216-474-0092. But I want to ask people, was Shedeur bad, or was he a victim of being on the Browns yesterday, on the 2025 Browns? And I think he was more of a victim to be on the 2025 Browns. And there are plenty of people who disagree with me on that, but you actually agree with me.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think virtually outside of like Josh Allen and some of the great quarterbacks that are in the league right now, I don't think anybody would have had much of a shot yesterday. I mean, think about starting your first possession on the 1 yard line and then getting penalized. Which actually, if there's ever a time to get penalized, that's the time because you don't go back very far. But that basically booted,
then having another penalty with 12 in the huddle.
Yeah, that booted the first possession completely. And then it seemed like with their special teams versus your special teams, they're getting the ball at midfield. You're getting the ball inside. How many times do we start at the 20 after a kickoff? When aren't you supposed to get the ball at like the 30? They're starting the ball at the 20. It was just a fiasco that we've seen all year on special teams. I don't think, by the way, the weather, I don't think had any kind of, this is one really good thing for Shedeur. I don't think the weather bothers him at all. You saw against Tennessee, he was chucking the ball all over the place with not much of a change.
I thought the weather had an impact on the ball itself because I think there were a couple of wobblers there that I'm like, if you're kicking a rock, that means you're throwing a rock. He's got big enough hands.
Yeah.
But I thought I saw a couple of wobblers. I thought I saw a couple from Caleb Williams too. But I don't know. I felt that had, but it's not
and he had no running game.
I'm just pointing it out. I'm being ticky-tack there because it's not something I would go, well, you can't play him anymore because he can't play in cold. No, he could play in cold weather. Yeah. There's no running game. There was very little semblance of anything offensively.
Tillman got benched, I guess. Was that what Kevin was talking about?
No, he was asked about it, and they said he wasn't feeling good or wasn't feeling up to it. There's another third-round pick by Andrew Berry.
And Thrash got cut.
Yeah, that happened over the weekend.
So
it's a 5th-round pick by Andrew Berry.
So obviously they're flailing away here. It would have taken a Herculean effort from Shedeur. It was nice to see the great throws. Obviously the one to Judy, which, how many times it was a tough play, but how many times out of 10 is that a touchdown with good receivers in this league? Probably most. So he gets denied that. Also got bailed out a couple times. He fumbled the ball. They didn't give it to the defense in that they said forward progress had stopped, and he had a pick 6 dropped. I mean, it would have been the easiest pick 6 of all time. It was dropped. So he had about 5 turnover-worthy plays yesterday. So it was rough. He is just going to get sacked a bunch, right? Like, I think even if the offensive line was good, he's going to hold on to the ball too long because he's trying to make big plays. He knows that they're not going to piecemeal drives down the field. So I think he is trying to make these big plays, trying to buy time for receivers, and he's got to learn, and he would over time. I would expect most quarterbacks to learn over time in the NFL. You can get away with that stuff in college. In the Big 12, you are not getting away with that against most teams in the NFL. Eventually, you're going to take hits, or you're going to get dropped, or you're going to fumble the football. Lots of bad things can happen. Good things can happen too, where you air it out and you have an amazing touchdown throw like you did earlier in the season. But it's tough, as most quarterbacks would tell you, veteran quarterbacks in the NFL. You've got to live to see another day. You got to know when to throw the football away, and also be a little more decisive, know when to just take off and run. He had that nice scramble early in the game, and then that was about it. He does not have he doesn't have his bearings right now on when to take off. All that stuff comes with time. I just don't know how much time he's going to have with the Browns, especially with where this season looks like it's careening towards.
Well, it's careening towards. He's not going to have enough time. He's not going to have enough time. None of this. He's a quarterback, so some of it's going to be his fault, obviously. But there's not enough time to give a fair evaluation at all. You're not going to be able to give a fair evaluation. I don't know what you can really evaluate. And when new people come in, because they got to come in, because this is now this cannot happen anymore for Browns fans. You cannot tolerate another year of this. You can draft whoever you want. They're not going to be excited about the season. So you have to get something new. And it's not about just tossing the fans a bone. Again, you were not ready with the right wristband, for crying out loud. And I understand that the former NFL quarterback that you texted told us about that. It could not be more important than what it was to have everything ready, and you didn't. You failed to organize yourself, which means you failed your team, which means you're failing the fan base, and you've been doing it for a long time. So anybody who just loses games gets blamed. But this isn't good coaching now, and it's been that way. And we've made excuses in the past. That is without an excuse yesterday. To start the game off like that, and then in the second drive to take a delay a game off the kickoff.
Yeah, unbelievable.
It's completely unacceptable, folks. And you shouldn't accept it.
I actually think
none of you should.
I gotta say, I actually think, maybe this will be unpopular, I think all of this has gotten worse with Kevin delegating the play calls to Tommy upstairs. I think they're not able to solve problems. I think if you guys might think the plays have been better, whatever, I haven't really noticed any huge difference. It's just Shador's been willing to throw the ball down the field. I think that's the only difference to the play calling. But I think that's messed up their systems.
So were we making excuses for Shador, or is he a victim of being on the Browns? I want to ask you guys that question. Ken Carman, Tone Master General. We're live on 92.3 The Fan. Fat and Thin in the morning on The Fan. K&K Heating and Cooling.
scoreless, going 0 for 10 from the floor. Darius Garland, 18 of his 26 points in the second half. Don't miss Monday Night Football, the Steelers and Dolphins. Coverage starts tonight at 7 o'clock right here on 92.3 The Fan. From the University Hospital Sports Desk, I'm Jeff Thomas.
Let's get to some of you guys. 216-474-0092. Was Shedeur bad? Are we making excuses for Shedeur? Or was he a victim of just being on the Browns? Let's get to the phones. Andrew in North Carolina. You're next up on The Fan. He's listening on the free Odyssey app. Hello, Andrew.
Hey, good morning, guys. First time, long time. Great show. Try to listen every morning. Appreciate it.
Appreciate it. Thank you very much, Andrew. Go ahead.
All right, I definitely think this is on the Browns and the organization. How many quarterbacks have we had since '99?
Plenty.
You would think we've at least accidentally found one that would have worked out at that point. I mean, a lot of people thought Tim Couch was going to be good, but you put him on an expansion team, no line, no weapons, poor guy gets killed. And it just keeps happening and happening. If they wipe the slate clean and go a new route, this is an unpopular take. I say you keep Shedeur, and you keep 4 on the roster for an emergency, and you just use it to draft help on the O-line, weapons, and the new regime now has a full year to evaluate whether you have something there or you don't. Either way, the money for 4 comes off the books at that point, and this new organization now gets a season underneath them to evaluate the rest of the roster, beef up, give them some talent around them so we can put a quarterback in a position to succeed for the first time since 1999.
Well, hey, listen, that's a great idea, but they're not going to do it.
Are you sharing that plan with Myles Garrett?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're telling him to wait a whole nother year to evaluate a quarterback?
That's what the money's for, Lima. That's why he signed that long contract. I don't know what else.
You should have just traded him. Then you should have traded him. There was no reason to keep him.
No argument there. I'm looking at the situation that we're in now, right? Mm-hmm. So, okay, fine. We go and draft Mendoza or Dante Moore or whoever. You're still putting him at, an O-line that's got you and me blocking for him, Lima, and he's throwing to Ken for crying out loud. You could get the second coming of Joe Montana. They're going to fail in this organization, and that's why
I feel like Ken.
It is an organization.
I feel like Ken would have prevented the interception. Ken might not have caught it, but Ken.
I wouldn't have been down there in the first place, so there was no throwing me that go round. You slug out at me, but that ain't gonna happen. Listen, these are all great ideas. I wanted to know, was Shedeur bad or a victim of the Browns? Guys, we have all the time in the world to talk about our future plans for the Browns. I don't think that if you guys have ideas to take offensive linemen and wide receivers and all the other things, I think that's a novel idea. I ain't going to call you stupid. I just don't believe the Browns are going to allow that to have time for the exact reason Lima said. You made a deal. Like, this is what's going on with Andrew Berry. Like, this is kind of if he gets let go this offseason, I put that as an if. If he gets let go this offseason, your legacy is what? You participated in a desperate trade for a quarterback, and then you may have made a signing based on ego. Because you said about Myles Garrett, and he said, and the caller, Andrew, well, that's what the money's for, and you pay him that money for what? For all this, obviously. But all this, it just makes you more and more bitter that this great player is on our football team. He's participated in the lack of leadership, but he's such a great player that I can't say anything more about that, and I won't. I mean, good God, he had his hand. He helped block a field goal yesterday. Help with that. So I guess that's why Bubba Ventrone should stay, obviously, is because of the greatest player on the defense of all time for the Cleveland Browns. Anywho, did everybody pick up the sarcasm or just the people watching on the internet? Okay. You have this great player, and we will find more great players. Like, guys, the team is not good. They're not good. But it's like, if I went down the list, I'd go... Okay, I got to keep going on the list on off. Okay, Quinshon Judkins, Harold Fannin Jr. Okay, those are a couple of guys that I like. We'll see what Luke Whippler does, but I'm not going to mention him for the love of God. I'm trying to help my case here. Then you got Miles. Then you got Mason Graham. Then you got Carson Swessinger. Then you got Tyson Denzel, Grant Delpit. You'll have Martin Emerson Jr. back. I mean, those are guys that I think you go, yeah, we can win with those guys. But you're wasting their time if you don't do it. So I just know how this team is going to operate. You guys know how. It's not me. You guys know how this team is going to operate. You can do your damnedest to talk them out of it, but you're not going to do it. Unless they go and they somehow, some way, win one of these 3 games. They ain't going to do that. So they're going to be in a position where they can trade up and go after a guy, and we're just going to have to hope. And by the way, a lot of you got, like Andrew in North Carolina, God bless him, he's going to call in next year when things aren't going that well with the new guy. Like if Fernando Mendoza is out there and he shows some signs that he's good, but they're not very good because I don't know who's going to block for him. I have no idea on that. He shows some signs he's good, but there's going to be some real tough growing pains there. And it's going to be a tough season. I'm not saying that next year everything's going to be solved just by taking your QB. I'm just bracing myself for the inevitability that they're going to take that guy and we need to get ready for it. So when you're watching the college football playoffs here over the next month, there's a lot of things that you need to evaluate, not just our own quarterback. I wish Shedeur was put in a position to change their minds. He's not put in a position to change their minds. The sabotage of it is not on purpose. It's just who they are. They don't put people in a good position to be successful. That's why we hold on to the guys so strongly who separate themselves. Joe, Miles, Phil, Josh Cribbs, Joe Hayden, Denzel Ward. We hold on to these guys as like they are beanie babies because they've participated and they've separated themselves on horrific teams. Horrific. Because they're not set up for success, and they haven't been. From Randy Lerner on too, guys. 216-474-0092. Scott in Akron, you're next up on the Fan. Hello.
So you pretty much hit the nail right on the head. I've been hearing all of these takes about Shedeur Sanders, and the one I hate the most is the race. The biggest take I saw was Shannon Sharp and Ocho Cinco. At first they said that the Browns are sabotaging Shedeur Sanders because they aren't playing him. 2 weeks ago, they said the Browns are sabotaging Shedeur Sanders because they are playing him. What is it? And if anybody has been a fan of the Cleveland Browns for any period of time, nobody is sabotaging anybody. We just flat out suck.
Oh, yeah. Everybody has the right. Like, they're not. People say, you say whatever you want to about anyone within the Browns. I mean, they handle it. They're pretty decent at handling a lot of the criticism. But the one thing that I'll say is that when the only thing that people say, well, the ownership doesn't care. They don't care about winning. I'm like, no, they care about winning. But we get in our own way here. We get in our own way. They want to win.
Save a lot for football players. It seems like we get the discounted rack of football players, run them into the ground, and then send them on their way.
Well, what did I compare Cody Kessler to, Scott? Thank you very much for the call. Tasty-O's.
Tasty-O's, yeah.
Yep. Still blocked over it.
Oh, come on. Get over it.
I'm sure he doesn't know or care or find out. Whatever. It's okay. Jeff in Chesterland, you're next up on the Fan. Hello, Jeff.
Good morning, everybody.
Hi.
So anyways, I think Shedeur did fine. I mean, he's doing fine. I don't think that's the question about him. It's about the coach. What's he doing? Even they're just not motivated. Even whoever was in charge of the wristband there, even they're not motivated. Nobody's playing with any heart except for the rookies, except for Judkins and Shedeur and Schlesinger and of course Myles Garrett.
Because it's the human element, Jeff. It's a human element. This is why I think that. I think Albert knows. I think that a lot of people know change is coming, because when you know change is coming, I mean, you know this, Jeff. Like, the human element is to try to get into a rhythm and stay comfortable. That's what everybody's always fighting, especially in competitive sports. And then when you know things aren't going well, and things are going to get much worse for you, and you're going to be separated from it, like, you start to not pay attention to details that you used to pay attention to. And I think that's what's going on here.
Well, I think Stefanski, he just doesn't have that instinct. He's relying so much on analytics that he's not using his instinct to call plays. You know, the fourth downs and all that. I mean, if you keep practicing, his experience is all in analytics. He's not letting his instinct mature or grow. He's just going according to whatever it says on the card. So I just think we after yesterday, we just need a new coach, new motivation. I'd stick with Shedeur. He's showing everything that more than any other rookie has ever shown. And he throws that deep ball. Man, when he's just winging it and they're catching it and he's throwing it right on the numbers to Judy and he can't catch it, I mean, he can't blame Shedeur for anything with this game, even though he threw 3 interceptions. He's trying to make something happen.
Yeah, Jeff, thank you very much for the call. 216-474-0092. That's still how I feel. I'm sorry, I was thinking about something else I just said to Jeff. That's where I'm at on that. Is that you don't like? Do you think that Kevin thinks he's going away? And I was thinking about what Albert Breer had written, like he could be a good coach for someone else. I'm like, yeah, God bless him. May you go do a good job with Jackson Dart. It is possible to say, and this is how the Browns work. So this is how I know. I think a lot of Browns fans probably feel this way, and they don't care. They're ready to move on. Maybe someday we'll have to deal with the internet memes of us having Kevin Stefanski, and then he's gone, and then him having success somewhere else. And I'll say it until the cows come home. There are situations that just fold up, and it's better for everybody else to move on, and it's better for everybody to make a split here. This cannot continue.
And no one's going to cry over it at this point.
No.
And I think he definitely understands
Kevin
this.
will be disappointed, but I don't think that he is going to be... Well, I'm sure he's going to be disappointed, but I'm sure he's not going to be heartbroken by it. I'm sure that he'll be ready to get another job and get going with that other job, whether he's an offensive coordinator or he's a head coach. Probably the same thing can be said for Andrew Berry. Like there's things that they come to an end. And what I saw on Sunday, that was a lack of discipline. It was a lack of organization. It was a lack of prep, and it cannot continue into next year. It can't. It cannot. You can't do that. You can't have your fans already torpedoed with their feelings because by the time you get to the draft, now you're going to have people in charge they don't trust, and you're going to put them in charge of taking guys that are supposed to shape your future. It's just hurting yourself. It's hurting the goodwill that you have with your fans. And I'm not saying to throw a bone to the fans and satiate bloodlust. The fans didn't get a delay a game call coming out of a break. Out of a kickoff. The fans didn't have a ball spotted at the 1 yard line. Whatever. What was Gage Larvadan doing running up to that ball, by the way? Did anybody get that specified? I'm sorry. I never got a specification on that. So, do we know what he did, why he did that? Because I got scared. I thought that was all of a sudden.
You're talking about on the 1 yard line?
The Bears ball. Yeah, what was that?
I thought
he had to touch it. What's the rule?
No, I thought the rule was that you can kind of pick it up and run with it with no penalty. Meaning if you fumble the ball, it's one of those weird...
If they touch it first.
If they touch it
first, you can try to pick it up, and if you fumble it, it's still your ball.
It's still your ball.
But that's only if they touch it first.
So it's like a freebie. Yeah,
yes.
It's a weird
because
rule.
they didn't immediately down the ball. They've left the ball in play.
Okay.
But they touched it.
All right. Well, I'm glad I waited for 3.5 hours and I didn't go ripping Gage Larvadan.
I got to tell you, Ken, for a football guy, I feel like you had to know that.
Dude, special teams rules are rough. It ain't my job.
I don't understand the special teams rule at all.
Football guy meeting later.
What is with the illegal? What would have been illegal? What did they challenge that they thought would have been illegal?
That the Bears player was on the goal line
and touched it.
And had he been on the goal line, it would have been a touchback because no part of your body can be touching.
Why is there a penalty flag thrown? What is the big?
I don't know that.
Egregious act.
I think that they might have just
football coaches. Let me hear.
It was is it Tolbert or Torborg?
And why is that a rule?
I wish I knew. I don't know.
I'm just a football guy. I'm not a why is that a rule?
They said that was a bad
just
challenge.
Because you're a football guy doesn't mean you keep working on it. I got to work on it.
Who did color yesterday? Daryl Moose Johnson later?
Yes.
And I don't even know if he knew which teams he was calling, to be quite honest.
Well, the one time he actually apologized and goes, whoops, that's Cairo Santos.
Yes. So he's got his charts mixed up. He has no idea. It's kind of like they just threw him these charts. Here's the game you're doing.
You could tell as he said it, he was like, and in the UFL,
that's what it was.
Andre Schmidt.
He was looking at Kairos. He thought he was looking at Cairo Santos' biography. He did what I did with the Jannard Avery interview, where I thought he liked it. I was bringing up like, oh, you like to cut grass. And they're like, what? So Larry Ogunjobi's like, what are you talking about? I go, oh my gosh, I left the page open.
I mean, I've definitely been there. But so then he goes, well, that was kind of a curious challenge. No, it wasn't. He didn't want them to have the ball at the 1 yard line. That's honestly, I didn't think that was a terrible challenge because there was a chance you couldn't tell if he had brushed the ball with his hands as they looked at the replays. I'm like, you kind of got to challenge that because I don't need Shedeur Sanders starting at the 1 inch line to basically be a 3 and out, and it came back to haunt him in a big way because they had to punt the ball out of their end zone, and immediately with our special teams, you know where they're going to get the football, and they capitalized on it.
When I started the show today, thank God that didn't come out of my mouth because I'm like, why did he go touch it? And I go, nobody jumped on it. It wasn't their ball. So I was like, I had to assume there was a rule there. Huh. If I don't know the rule, can I say anything about Bubba Ventrone then? Do I have to be quiet?
Yeah.
Do I have to be quiet about Bubba Ventrone now for the rest of the week because of that?
No, I think you're allowed to. I think history's given us enough Bubbas.
I know about the foot inbounds and out of bounds and how you can get that. I know that rule.
Right. It's the same deal, Anthony, with the goal line, right? If you can put your foot out of bounds but catch the ball inbounds, but the ball will be out of bounds because your foot's out of bounds even though the ball didn't go out of bounds.
What's the justification for that rule?
I'll never understand.
I'm just ready for the season to be over with.
Yeah, you are. Yes, you are. I think the Broads are too. Because they came out flat, and I think they're going to continue to come out flat. And it's going to be at the cost of Shedeur Sanders with the Cleveland Browns. So anybody who's been upset about this, I think you're going to continue to be upset. And I will tell you one more thing why I felt that way and why, yes, maybe I am making a few excuses. Ken Carman, Anthony Lima, take us with you to work on the absolutely positively free Odyssey app. And listen here closely where I'm telling you right now, if you spend $2,000 between now and December 31st, you could get it absolutely all back when you go to Extend Technologies in Broadview Heights. All you have to do is root for the snow. All you have to do is say, let it snow, let it snow, let it snow on February 8th, 2026. And then you, my friends, could be getting it absolutely free, Tone.
So the two of us, we're filming an ad for Extend Technologies.
We had to do like 80 takes.
We did like 80 It was Stanley Kubrick.
Yeah,
right?
I made like a Kubrick joke, and then I think the guy did that on purpose.
Oh, he was very thorough.
Oh, my gosh.
We had to, one of the gags is we're trying to lift one of these TVs that you could have that could be comped completely free if it snows more than 8 inches.
Pittsburgh now lead the AFC North. For Tua Tagovailoa and Miami, their season turnaround continues with 4 consecutive wins. Join me and Hall of Fame quarterback Kurt Warner to find out who wins the Dolphins and Steelers on Monday Night Football.
The radio home of the NFL in Cleveland. We are Sports Radio 92.3 The Fan.
Hey, you guys were talking about how ill-prepared, we all have been talking about how ill-prepared they were at the beginning of the year and how they might be, you don't focus on things. We got some calls as well, and I heard our boss talking, and I went, oh my goodness, I didn't even think about this, and I should say this before the end of the show. The head coach is the head coach. You blame the head coach. His name's on the door. Doesn't absolve him of any of the responsibility. We're talking about different play calls and wrong play sheets and different QB wristbands. I don't know. I keep hearing about Tommy Rees and all these other jobs. I wonder if he's just getting ready for all these other jobs. Unfair? Probably.
I think
nasty? Probably. I'm sorry.
People don't want to hear this because these guys are paid handsomely. But in the last quarter of the year, what happened yesterday? Do we need to go over the scores
I'm just
again?
wondering, are we on our phone with our agent too much when we...
Well, we went over this earlier in the show. You started going through some of the scores yesterday, the blowouts.
Mm-hmm.
It's that time of the year. I mean, these guys have kids have school districts they need to get into in other towns. They start back channeling. Do you think like there's a hiring cycle where we are starting our conversations now? No, they're already having them.
But you have to understand why I'm angry about that, because you end up being the victim. You can't evaluate your quarterback that we have spent months debating about. Months. He has been a conversation piece for months. And now I say this, and I hate saying it. I hate saying it. But in 3 weeks, it could be all for naught, and it was just a giant waste of time. They'll get new people. Those new people will move on. The NFL has a way that they think about him, and it's not very serious. The general public fans either love him or hate him, or love him or hate him because of his fans or in spite of him. I don't know. There is an interest with the general public. You don't just sell that many jerseys by accident. You don't get that many people paying attention to you by accident. But in those NFL circles, Lima, you know those NFL guys who have their own podcasts and things like that, they never bring them up. They never talk about him seriously. Now, part of that is the football team he plays for, because we aren't talked about very seriously anytime. But good God almighty. And I think at the end of all this, they'll probably clean house. And whoever comes in will move on, and it will just feel like this was 10 years ago, this weird year that just happened out of the middle of nowhere, and then that's it. And I certainly wish him well. I wish we could give him something that's fair in an evaluation, but we couldn't do it. We couldn't do that for any of the other quarterbacks, for that matter. So he just really becomes the latest victim of the Browns. Not on purpose sabotage. They're just the Browns.
And when people... I was just talking to Keith, our boss, off the air, and we were going over the great throws that Sanders had. And it's pretty clear. Like, he has some traits now that you would think would lend him to being a much higher drafted pick. I don't know, maybe first round, maybe second round, whatever, but clearly not fifth round. However, the problem is he was a fifth round pick, and the investment is not the same as if he were taken in the first round. That's why, I went back and looked, and Cam Ward had like 4 really good throws yesterday against San Francisco. But he's been lost all year. We saw him up close and personal. You saw some of the arm talent, right? Mm-hmm. And obviously his size is size that you bet on in the NFL. Shador doesn't have that size, but Shador's arm, seems like he can make every throw you would want him to make. The issue is that is not a first-round investment. Like, Tennessee is going to stick. Most likely. You wouldn't see them opt for Mendoza over Cam, even though Dane Brugler and others have had Mendoza with a higher draft grade.
Maybe you would. But that's the difference in the investment. You've invested a lot in Cam Ward. You've put him on the billboards down there, I'm sure.
That's why you fired the coach already.
That's why you fired the coach already. There's a lot of things that you've invested in him. That investment hasn't been made in Shador Sanders. Now, there's been a lot of things that the Browns have benefited off of because of how popular he is, but there hasn't been that investment. And because you didn't invest that much in him, that means that you're not going to do a lot to go out of your way to make sure that he's part of your future. That's just the NFL. You can like it, you can not like it, but that's the way the life works. Unless they win a couple of games and really find themselves out of it. They ain't win games like this. They're not going to win games with this team. And I just said, you got a bunch of guys that look like they're getting ready for another walk of life or another chapter in their life with another team, it seems. Because that was from the very beginning, literally from the very beginning, from the opening kickoff, uninspired, disorganized. Everything that it is the antithesis of everything you claim to be. That's why all these things, that's why we laugh at all this stuff. All this stuff that you paint on walls and play like a Brown, smart, tough, accountable, whatever all the other words that they use are. None of it means anything.
The next coach will have phrases too. But this is pretty obvious. This is a poorly coached team. They've been poorly coached for a while. Not firing the special teams coach. You know, we debated that like literally 10 weeks ago. Man, it was even earlier in the season than that.
Yeah.
That we debated that. And people wondered, is that hollow? What does firing a special teams coach do? I do think it could set a tone, and they never set that tone. They allowed him to continue working in the building, and so they've allowed that level of not meeting expectations to fester, and it's gotten worse. And so why would anybody else in any other facet, if you can look and see if that guy's job is safe every week and that level of play and that level of coaching is permitted, then what is it for everybody else?
Terrible. It's terrible.
That's what accountability is all about. That's why we harped on it. I didn't, today it's the end of the season. What's the point harping on it today? But that's why. If you ever wonder why we harped on that stuff earlier in the year.
But again, you hear what the head coach says in the postgame, and you wonder how much power he really has over that. And that's why it's like, hey man, he might want you to do him a favor. It seems that nobody wants to be a part of this. That everybody who's in it is done with it. Still 3 weeks left to go in the season. But we're supposed to evaluate who that quarterback's supposed to be? Okay. Big thanks to Darryl Ryder, who joined us today. He was excellent. We're back tomorrow, 6 to 10. John Greco joins us tomorrow, 8 o'clock. Be a fantastic time. Also, do you want to go around the AFC North on Wednesday? I think we do.
Oh, boy.
Ooh, the Joe Burrow conversation. You want to have that?
Sad Joe Burrow. Very sad Joe Burrow week.
Was
terrible. Did you see the pick six he threw yesterday? Is he going to ask for a trade? And what would happen if Joe Burrow asked for a trade?
How many picks would you trade for him?
The Browns have to get in on that, right?
Yeah. Good luck.
They wouldn't. I don't think they'd ever trade him in the division, but you'd have to inquire.
See, this is your desperation clicking in here. We have a week to discuss it because we ain't going anywhere. Have a great day. Hey, sounds good.
Where's your entourage now?
Cool, I got on the last show.
Loser town, loser fans, and you guys are a loser show.
No, yeah.